Welcome, everybody, to the conclusion of 2 amazing seasons of GitGud Limited EU action sponsored by ExpressVPN. My name is Keela Miles, casting today with Ocean, and today we have 2 grand finals for you, starting out in the intermediate division and moving on up to expert. But before that, we got the intermediate grand finals with Honeybadgers taking on Bad English.
Yeah, and in this situation, we have been through a double elimination bracket. So Bad English coming through the winner's bracket or the upper bracket in other tournaments, and Honeybadgers coming through the lower bracket trying to continue their winning run.
Yeah, and to be honest, it has been a bit of a shaky season. I mean, when you go down in the first round of losers like Honeybadgers did, it's a scary scene, but Honeybadgers, that didn't really faze them, as they didn't drop a map except for 1 to Celestial in the second round.
Yeah, and what is interesting, right, is that they lost the gear voltage, right, in the first round of the winners bracket, and then 3-0'd them later on, right? So that tells me that they are a team that can adapt, but also they took an entire series to adapt and then had to wait until they get their revenge. So I would like to see if they can maybe adapt in this game, because this could be a difficult game. You know, we know Bad English hasn't lost a series. They're in the winners bracket still, obviously. And their last game against Gear Voltage was also a 3-0, so we'll see how this one works out.
And to be honest, I am a little bit surprised at the fact that Honeybadgers went down so early, because the 3-map series does tell me that Gear Voltage definitely stepped up, but they couldn't sustain that momentum throughout the winner's bracket as they eventually fell to Bad English, because then they got reversal when Honeybadgers met them again. So, Ocean, do you think Honeybadgers is rising to the occasion enough to stand up to Bad English?
I mean, potentially. I mean, I don't know enough about these teams to say yeah, but the evidence suggests that Honeybadgers is an improving team, and Bad English was the team to beat. So, yeah, why not? Why couldn't they?
Yeah, and when you have these sort of losers bracket situations, it becomes scary when you know that one team has been surging through. Like, when you beat a team and then they go right back to the losers and pop up for grand finals, you know what to expect. But when you haven't seen a team for weeks, it's a scary prospect, because you don't always have all the data that you'd usually want.
Well, yeah, the losers bracket isn't always the worst thing in the world, right? And in this situation, it's actually quite ideal, because usually, like, in different circumstances, for example, San Francisco Shock in Overwatch League Season 2 went for the losers bracket to win, right? That's one thing. The second thing is, usually the winners bracket has some sort of advantage, like they have a map advantage, or the losers bracket teams that have already been playing that day to get to the grand finals. They'll have played an extra match, which means they're going to be more tired. This is a fresh day of Overwatch, right? So there's no real advantage for Bad English here. The only thing is that there's less VODs of them for Honeybadgers to have a look at.
Yeah, and the VOD's advantage is especially bad, because you don't know what sort of strats they got cooking up, especially when it's more of a fluid meta right now. I mean, it's mostly from what we've been seeing in Contenders Trials. The favorite composition has been the Reinhardt Diva brawl with plenty of CC to boot, with the May McCree. That is not from the looks of it at this level, not an especially complicated comp, but these teams have had time to prepare for it.
Yeah, you also got double bubble compositions, so like Echo, and then of course you either run Honorbreak or Zenbreak, depending on how aggressive or poke-based you want to play with that double bubble. You've got options in different areas, right? You've got different types of brawl. You've got the Blackout brawl people were playing before, but instead of running the Reaper, you run the Tracer and aim for the backline a little bit more. And that's a brawl composition with Diva and Winston, right? That's like difficult to understand for these intermediate teams.
And we're going to be taking a look at the rosters, the starting 6 for both teams. Bad English, they're going to have Lol and Skelicious on the DPS, and of course Pikachu and Dennis on the tank lineup, and Bob and Grimkin rounding out the roster on support.
Yeah, I mean, Bad English, what I really liked when I looked at their roster, one, that it was in order. right? I like that. You know, when they give us the team sheet to this in order, I can write it all down. It's nice. Additionally, like they have two hit scan players. One to be they have two flex DPS players. One that likes to play those heroes like Genji that are a little bit more, let's say, unique, or you know, for like a particular player to play those heroes, it's not too uncommon at the highest level. And then you've got your traditional flex DPS player who can play Mei, Echo, and all of those flex DPS to a really good standard. So yeah, I like the way they've built the roster, and I think that is incredibly cool at the intermediate level.
Yeah, and to Honeybadgers, the main thing about them that I really want to highlight is all of the preferred heroes are exactly the meta composition, with the minor exception that they might be running the Zarya instead of the D.Va, and that shows me that they have a very good grasp over how to play in this current situation.
Yeah, I noticed that as well, and I'm quite impressed by that. What I also like, though, about Bad English is that they listed heroes not only from the Brawl composition, but from Double Bubble and options like that. So it looks like they have maybe more options to work with. But what it also tells me about Honeybadgers is they're going to be playing a little bit more aggressive, right? Because Zarya, usually she's better in the early parts of teamfights. You have that easier burst Brawl potential with those particle barriers. So looking at that, they might want to play a little bit faster than Bad English. And a team that's playing fast, a little bit more aggressive, and a little bit more confident is always tricky to deal with.
Yeah, so it's going to be up to Bad English to try and almost bait out those cooldowns before they get the engage, because if they're able to do that, then Honeybadgers, once they actually cross the threshold and are ready to brawl it out, as you say, then, well, they won't have the tools to actually do it. But if Honeybadgers are able to keep their cool and take the fights where they actually want to fight, then they, I have a good feeling about them going into these brawly situations.
Yeah, additionally, right, I was mentioning the double bubble composition before, because if we go to maps with high ground, and particularly in the intermediate division, where you're not going to be as skilled, you're not going to have the best shot calling, you're not going to have the best pathing, it's going to be very, very, very difficult to play Brawl against dive-based compositions, particularly around high ground. So if we get later in the series and say Bad English pick Volskaya Industries and have the capability to play double bubble and really affect Honeybadgers on transition while they're pathing, because their pathing is not going to be as good because this is the intermediate division, then they could be in trouble. And I feel like I would have a lot more confidence in Bad English because they could play multiple compositions.
Yeah, and that is exactly what we're going to be looking out for now. I don't expect to see the multiple compositions here, as we're starting out on Nepal in Sanctum, where it's a bit difficult to run those sort of divey styles because there's not really a high ground that's worth taking. So we're going to be seeing a brawl mirror on both sides.
I am looking here, though. I do want the teams both to know how to play Nepal. I don't want to see anyone walking to the point. I don't want to see anyone trying to brawl in that mega health pack room. I want people to be brawling on that high ground from the right-hand side that we're looking at currently. That high ground with little pillars on the side. Take that area, because every single get good match I cast, some team doesn't take that area and they absolutely bottle the first team fight.
Yeah, and from this rotation, it's, well, not looking the best for you. It's going to be an inside brawl right now, as they're just immediately taking this inside room. Honeybadgers have a good sense of positional advantage, so Bad English, they're just going to go onto the point, force Honeybadgers to approach them, and the wall catches Balthazar in the sloppy rotation. Going to be separated from their team, and the Immortality Field just isn't there to support them. Now, without that main tank, the rest of the team, they're trying the best to make something work, but they don't have the cover to do that, so they're going to fall, do some resets, and give the point over to Bad English.
Yeah, Bad English making sure they take up the point first, and that's not the worst way to play, especially if both teams aren't going for that high ground. You can stick on the point and wait for your opponents to make a move. What I would like to see from both of these teams in this next fight, though, is when you're making a rotation, or your opponent's making a rotation, you rotate as well and match that rotation. I want to see that, because then you can really catch out your opponent's main tank.
Yeah, and this is an immediate rotation coming out. You see, Honeybadgers got the wall, but then Bad English just counterwalled, and they managed to get the pick off of it, and now without Sven, they're not going to have that wall at all. Additionally, the ultimates are starting to favor Bad English, but with these picks, you don't really want to use them quite yet. There's, ooh, another isolation play. Skillicious has been on point with that.
Yeah, Scalicious is looking really good on this man. You actually notice that Scalicious has less ult charge than Sven, so Sven is really looking for this poke damage, really looking to build up the Blizzard, whereas Scalicious is looking for those picks to help out the team. So Sven's gonna have the Blizzard in this next fight. Scalicious won't, but can they get a wall off before the Blizzard comes into effect? That's the question.
The immediate Ant Matrix, though, is going to make it very difficult for Bad English to even exist on the point. Grimkin gonna fall. Now without that Lucio, a lot of mobility sapped away from the side of Bad English, but they're stalling out the point admirably. It's, well, just admirable, though. They're not gonna get any value from it. Wisely not gonna use any ultimates, though, as the point flips over at 75% to the Honeybadgers.
They didn't really need anything, Honeybadgers, right? They just actually moved their McCree over to the high ground, poked Bad English from a different off angle, forced out a lot of resources, and really made Bad English uncomfortable. I really like that. What I would have liked to see from Bad English is as soon as Honeybadgers were approaching the point and they were out of resources, it's just walk backwards, take a breather, and then rotate back into them. Looks like this next fight is starting. Blizzards are online.
Yeah, aggressive ultimate usage from the side of Sven. Building to that fast really paid off, but even with that initial pickoff, Dennis goes off the side. That's the main tank gone. Pikachu has to get aggressive, look for those picks with the Graviton, but Scalicious falls to the boop as well. Evans is saving this fight despite that initial initiation.
See, this is where I actually think Honeybadgers is the better brawl team there. Right? You saw Bad English walk around the right-hand side instead of Honeybadgers moving towards point or, staying in their current location and, letting Bad English rotate. They just walk into him. They just walk into him and try and catch the mid-rotation, and they are constantly moving around the map. Just watch their players constantly moving. I like that from a team.
Yeah, and immediately moving over to stop this play, but the double Ant Matrixes are going to result in Avens falling, so no more boot plays, but Scalicious is going to be taken down before they can drop the wall. Nothing to block that Fire Strike from sweeping through the team, and that's just an immediate wipe.
Yeah, and we can now go into more ultimates here because we've now kind of established what these teams are good at rotation-wise. Honeybadgers, they have got a couple of ultimates that are going to be online in the mid-fight that are extremely going to help them. They're probably going to have an Ant Matrix and a Blizzard then. They've got ultimates to start off the fight, but I feel like with the Blizzard and the Deadeye coming out from the opposition, you want to look at this mid-fight. However, Takuno's got two.
Yeah, Takuno really cracking this fight wide open, punishing Bad English for those rotations that we have said are not quite on point on this first map. Going to be going to full stall heroes now, but it's unlikely that they'll even be able to touch. Even if they did, there's gonna be a sound barrier to stop them anyway, as the first point on Nepal goes over to Honeybadgers.
And that was such a weird fight, because Bad English had all of the ultimates to take that fight. All of them, right? They had so many options. And they didn't really seem to have a game plan or anything they really wanted to try and execute that fight. And Honeybadgers, they just threw Deadeye in, randomly got a kill, and that fight was over from there. So Honeybadgers, they seem like the more proactive team, which is nice. Of course, if you're always playing proactively, your opponent's always reacting and is a step behind you. That's always a nice thing. I mention every broadcast. But what I want to say here is, Honeybadgers realistically should have had to fight harder for that last team fight win. They had ultimates, right? But they weren't the correct ultimates to respond with what Bad English had, and Bad English were quite poor, in my opinion.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to hope that's a wake-up call for Bad English, because if they keep going for these Hail Mary last-second rotations and they get picked off, it's never going to be a good situation in these high-pressure scenarios, as immediately Dennis gets isolated, but they have the Zarya with them. Pikachu bailing Dennis out of dodge right there, but the Immortality Field is committed anyways. Neither side has an Immortality Field, which means any death, it's going to be a lot higher on the to-do list. Honeybadgers, they do get the initial flip, forcing Bad English to commit onto them, but no casualties thus far. But that's a nice set of storm arrows right there, bro. Going down, and now this is a huge opportunity. No Baptiste on the field, and the shatter hits good. 2 people down, and that's enough to turn any sort of fight. The capitalization is there, and even though the cleanup is a little bit staggered, it's enough for Bad English to get the flip.
10 times better from Bad English. You may say, why is that 10 times better? Honeybadgers were able to get the point earlier. You saw they tried to come in from the right, they tried to come in from the left. They tried different things, and they were constantly moving around the map. That is so much harder to deal with, especially in this tier when you kind of envision Brawl as this very compact composition. That's hard to deal with, and Bad English, they'll reap the rewards. They've got a Graviton Surge for this next fight. Both Ant Matrixes are online. Let's see how both of them are used.
Yeah, no Amp Matrix commitment from Bad English, just getting out of the way of Ebroths right now. And that did work out well for them, but the backup wasn't quite as good as you would have liked. Dennis does get caught out, but the grab gives him enough room to peel away, and the Dragon was online. Skillicious just tosses that right through the Graviton Surge and gets the 3 kills necessary to hold on to the point.
Yeah, Bad English looking a lot more comfortable now. I think they now know what they're doing. They're moving around the map more often. They are executing win conditions. Maybe that's, you know, the more obvious win condition, right? Our obvious win condition in this fight is Graviton Surge Dragon Strike. Maybe that's helping them a little bit more. I wouldn't be surprised. But Honeybadgers, let's look at the positives for them. They've got Blizzard and Sound Barrier in this next fight. What about English have other than the Sound Barrier? I mean, Deadeye, maybe they can use it earlier in the fight?
Yeah, they need to be hoping for some sort of pick from Skillicious, but with Grimkin going down so early, that's not looking likely. A heavy commitment right now from Honeybadgers, but it is going to get them the point and maybe some time to build up to some more ultimates.
Yeah, Bad English, they have a couple of ultimates that are really good in the early fight, Deadeye and Dragon Strike. So high tempo ultimates, you always want to be using them on engagement, or you know, in the or like soft engagements, right? So you can up speed and use a Deadeye and put your opponents under pressure. That's an example. Honeybadgers, they have nothing to counteract those 2 ultimates. Plus, if you get to the mid fight, you have a Sound Barrier. This should be Bad English's fight. Honeybadgers, they need to play aggressive before this fight starts.
Yeah, the ticket in the door is that Dragon Strike. Skillicious letting Bad English get onto the point, and now an initiating Sound Barrier. Good in the mid-fight, but not quite catching Bob, and despite all that extra health, still people falling late in the fight. Exige goes for a Deadeye. They only catch Arzen, and now 70% in building. This is looking dire.
And they used all of the ultimates that they had on engagement tools. They used the Sound Barrier and didn't get it. And now look at the ultimate economy. Flipped over to Honeybadgers, and it has to do with Balthazar. Balthazar is engaging at the right times and making sure those ultimates aren't getting any value. They're making the engagements tough for Bad English, and I really like this main tank play. So engaging fast and stopping Bad English from having their win conditions online, that's what they're doing right now, and it's working to a treat.
Ooh, but turning to look for that shatter block gets both main tanks down. Now, no, this might just be it for Nepal. Losing the tanks so early on meant there was no peel potential at all for the rest of Bad English, and they have no way to get back to the point. That was a clean wipe right at 99%, not even going to be an overtime, as Honeybadgers, they go up 1-0 in the grand finals.
It seems to me that both of these teams are having a little bit of trouble approaching the point. For example, if you talk about the first team fight, Bad English won both of them, right? But when they actually had a team fight lost and they were trying to gain control of this control point and they were pathing in, they weren't moving nearly as much. They weren't rotating properly. They weren't executing win conditions. And I think that's something they're going to have to work on, right? You can't just always have percentage of a control point. That's just not how this game's ever going to work. Honeybadgers, what I do like from them is that they're constantly looking to engage first, constantly looking to be the proactive team, and that, as I said, Balthazar is looking to make that engagement, looking to make the win conditions for Bad English difficult.
And if Bad English, they are, like you said, playing very reactively, and that has bitten them quite a few times, especially when they had the ultimate advantage, and they tried to use those ultimates, those engagement ultimates, reactively.
Yeah. Additionally, right? Like, if you were in a gunfight, if you were in a war-style game like Overwatch, right? You would always be moving, right? You wouldn't, like, stay in this stagnant block, right? And it seems to be a common trend. Like, even at the highest level, trials, you could sometimes see this, where teams just are playing brawls to their block, right? And they're always trying to support their main tank. You can support your main tank from an off-line goal, putting people under pressure. You can have your Lucio, like, pressuring their Reinhardt, and that helps your Reinhardt. I think that's something that these teams need to look at, because if you were in this situation, you would be moving a lot more. You'd be rotating and trying to out-strategize and out-rotate your opponents. I feel like that's how people need to treat Brawl.
Yeah, and the Brawl matchup not looking amazing for Englich, as you said. But if they're going to play this reactive style, do you think maybe choosing a map where they can utilize that double bubble they seem to run is better?
Yeah, because you wait to see what Honeybadgers want to do. You dive like on a high ground above them maybe, and then that's Winston is just going to cleave all over them, get a bunch of ult charge, because that's how Winston works. You can zap multiple targets at once, and honestly, it means you can catch your Honeybadgers out on poor rotations, or maybe just catch them with something they haven't played against before. Because I would very much doubt that many intermediate teams would play double bubble.
Yeah, it's a really tough composition, though, to be honest, Ocean. One of my favorites. But unfortunately, it's going to be so difficult because we already are seeing how Bad English are having trouble on these rotations, specifically the aggressive rotations. The only ray of light I saw, Ocean, was that initial engagement on Shrine, because they just poked around, they waited for like the wall to be baited, and then once that initial pick came out, they were instant, already inside the point, taking out the Honeybadgers. So if we see more of that on other maps, I do have faith Bad English can get some points on the board.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I remember saying that fight was 10 times better than anything they had showed us so far. I think it's important to kind of sit back and think, when you're in this situation, what do? We want to pick a map that allows us to play a range of compositions and allows us to move more, something that's more comfortable, because Bad English, they have these fights that are really good and these fights are really bad. So maybe a case of comfort and having other options is the way to go, and it looks like they have decided for Rialto.
And this is really a nice pick right now. If you want to play that more long-range reactive game, I can't think of a better map than this. I mean, you're going to be all the way back, especially in the beginning of that second point. You're going to have so much range to just fire down upon the Honeybadgers. But this isn't the best range composition. Bad English still going to be engaging up front, which is going to make it dicey for Dennis and Pikachu.
Yeah, and Honeybadgers also flashing a little bit of an interesting pick. They're going to go for the Reinhardt and Sigma in the Brawl composition. I personally don't like that call. However, it comes with the traditional stigma that Rialto is more of a poke map, but I can understand the thought process. Looks like Bad English going for a more aggressive Brawl hold. Not sure how the Hanzo is going to fit into this, but we'll see if the Hanzo is able to execute some picks maybe from the backline while this aggressive Brawl is going on.
If this aggressive brawl means that the shield isn't up as much, that's going to give Scalicious time to build up to the Dragon Strike a lot faster, especially as Dennis drops right down, but the instant charge is there, making Dennis a real glass cannon, but they're still able to survive without shattering, and that even with that boop onto Pikachu. Bad English, a nice early engage gives us some nice early ult charge.
Again, that's one of those fights for Bad English that is 10 times better than the rest of their gameplay. They're the ones being proactive. They're the ones engaging first. So it is maybe just a thing of comfort. They've planned that rotation before, so they're good at it. Maybe that's what it is for Bad English. And Honeybadgers, they're now in a situation where they can hold up to this corner and try and pressure their opponents. Already 75% of the Earth Shatter. That's what they're going to be looking to win this fight based on.
Yeah, Bad English has given up that entire forward hold right now. Ooh, that's a nice charge, taking them all the way into enemy territory. Dennis barely escaping with their life, backing out of that immortality field to the safety of their healers, but LOL will fall. This has been the story of this map. Takuno has been winning this Macredo a lot of the time, but you can't win it when you're on the ground right there. Dennis will be punished for going for that Shatter, though. And now it's really all on this Amatrix to find some sort of pick, but it fades before Scalicious can make value out of it. And Takuno, with 4 kills in that fight, really was the rock the team fought around.
As a coach, that's one of those fights we're getting the VOD reviewer. I want to know how my main tank's got a 3-person Shatter, and we've got that Matrix up, and my main tank's dead, and we haven't killed anything. That's one of the fights you VOD review.
And now, this is what we are seeing with the engages. Oh! The High Noon breaks the shield. Nothing to block Balthazar's Shatter, and they're happy to capitalize. The Blizzard, it's just the icing on the cake. Make sure no one can escape. And that helps Abens build up to that sound barrier. Might have been a bit of an overinvestment, but it does secure the point.
Yeah, Grimkin lost her sound barrier in that engagement. Got slammed and lost their sound barrier. It was actually going to be a really well-timed ultimate to help with the Blizzard, but really good Earth Shatter coming in for Balthazar. As both teams fell for the high ground, it's good to see both teams know where to play on the ultimate point B. Bad English, they have the Graviton Surge. Jaeger, they have the Self-Destruct on the side of Honeybadgers. Let's watch this off-tag matchup.
Ooh, Bad English gets their entire front line stunned and LOL falls because of it, but the grab still goes off. Going for the Dragon Strike through it, and that Immortality Field will not have a long enough lifespan to keep them sustained. has. The hold does come out from Bad English. A good execution on that combo.
When the win condition is obvious to Bad English, they're actually playing quite well. That was a very well-executed Graviton Surge and Dragon Strike play. My criticism for Honeybadgers is you have the sound barrier, you have a Diva to try and react to those ultimates, and you probably know they're online, so, you know, how is that such an easy team fight? It was well executed from Bad English, but there are questions to be asked of Honeybadgers, and Bad English, they're now in a really good place to hold. This could be bad for Honeybadgers, who have been rolling this series this far.
Ooh, and that wall keeps two squishies up in there. Pikachu and Skalicious down, and that is a lot of the peel out of the way. And even worse is those are the two ultimates that Bad English have been relying to win fights. Now they're not going to be building to them at all throughout this prolonged, staggered fight end, as this is just looking like point 2 might already be gone.
Yeah, they're going to try and hold these stairs, which is actually a really good call, because it makes it difficult for Honeybadgers to take space unless they throw the self-destruct in!
Oh, Jaeger! Throwing their mech all the way back, and there's nothing to stop that bomb. I mean, Dennis was the only one who could, and they were too busy holding the front line. Jaeger, oh my word.
What a self-destruct. I was trying to think of what could he get Bad English off of those stairs, and I saw the self-destruct online. Jaeger, reading my mind, throws it in the correct spot. What a beautiful self-destruct play, and that is better from Jaeger. That's a heads-up play that you don't just randomly get. That was what fodder kill, and it was a great play. I'd love to see them playing around the grab drags a little bit better, but that was really strong from the Diva player. And Honeybadgers, look, they've got ultimates to use again. Blizzard, Deadeye, Earthshatter, and Amp Matrix online.
Yeah, this is do or die right now from Bad English. They need to find some sort of pick, something to give them an advantage, and they do use the wall to block Balthazar's Shatter. Now the Amplification Matrix and the Shatter committed for nothing, and Dennis firing back with a Shatter of their own, knocking the team to the ground, and on top of that, they get a massive stagger onto Jaeger.
Oh no, just talking about Jaeger's great plays, and this has happened, and this is brutal, right? Because not only does this knock time off the clock, it means that Bad English now have, an easier pathing or an easier execution of their grab drag for the next fight. What are Honeybadgers going to do about it? That's the question. They've been poor reacting to this grab drag and combo. Every single time it's been online, it's been a fight loss for the Honeybadgers. Let's see how they play around this grab drag, because this is going to be interesting, especially since the sound barrier, the obvious option, isn't here.
Oh, and shooting it through the wall to make sure it can't get eaten, but they're not able to find the immortality field. Everyone low health, but thanks to Ebroth and Abens, Honeybadgers are immediately back up to full strength. Balthazar and Jaeger getting that healing, and that was the win condition gone. Now, Bad English have to search for some sort of other pick. They don't catch him in the rotation, and now, as the shield is still up, it's going to be the double Amp Matrixes that make this play field such a deadly place to exist. It's going to be the Honeybadgers, though, getting the edge through their Amp Matrix, but enough kills have come out that the spawn advantage of Bad English might be able to stop this.
Yeah, the target focus needs to be a little bit better from Honeybadgers if they're going to fix up this fight. It is still winnable, and they are going to clean up these kills. However, it's not going to be enough to really push them towards the end of the map. They're going to have to try and help out Jaeger, because that's going to be their engagement tool. They ideally want to save that sound barrier for the mid fight, because that could be a juicy win condition.
Ooh, but Bad English, they want to fight on the outside. Not a lot of cover for that self-destruct, and Pikachu, their bubble is broken right before they can get behind cover. Now, this is looking dicey. They don't have that Zarya to help out Dennis in the mid-fight, but with the help of the Mei, Balthazar will still end up losing the duel. Now, Dennis, they have that Shatter, and there's no shield to block it. The Lucio's the only one who doesn't go down, but Abens had that sound barrier up to save the rest of their team prolong this fight. But again, the spawn advantage is there, but oh my word, Tikuno winning the Wild West duel and taking out Dennis to boot. Now, this is a huge opportunity for the re-engage, but Law goes in with this Blizzard, splits up the tanks from the supports, and it's really only Ebroth who's trying to get this healing in. Balthazar, though, punishes Law for trying to punish them for being on the other side of the Blizzard.
This is getting really messy. Both teams throwing out ultimates. I think that Blizzard was poor. No one was ready to execute that play with Law. However, Dennis, trying to be the hero right now, fire strike through the Amp Matrix.
Yeah, and that might just be the turnaround right there. Without Abens there's not really a good engagement. Ebroth maybe would throw down the Amp Matrix, but you still want to wait for that Lucio so you can speed in after you get a pick.
Yeah, no, looking at this next fight, that was the winning fight for Honeybadgers, and now it's last fight territory. And look what Bad English have online. They've got that Graviton Surge. They dealt with it last time. Can they do it again? 7 seconds left on the clock.
Pikachu looking to throw that down now, and Scalicious has the high noon. Sven canceling out the follow-up with the Blizzard, as this is looking good right now for Honeybadgers. They just need to capitalize, but they can't fall to that high noon. Sven couldn't get in the ice block fast enough, and now the re-engage comes out now off the back of Dennis's Shatter, cracking open the defense. Balthazar once again going down early in this tank duel. The McCree-May combo is so difficult to deal with as a main tank player. Now this is the Hail Mary. Jaeger tries to go for the bomb, but it clanks against the door as this fight is prolonged long enough for Bob to drop down the Ant Matrix. Going for another one-shot fire strike that gets Jaeger out of mech, and that might just be enough to finish it off, especially with the Blizzard preventing anyone else from getting to point, as Bad English hold Honeybadgers right before the end of point 3.
This is now a very difficult matchup to analyze, because both of these teams are such highs and such lows. Whereas, Honeybadgers, they were really struggling to deal with the Grav Drag until that fight on the start of point C. You're the one I'm talking about, where they throw the Immortality Field down right in the corner, and Bad English have no response because they've just been getting 3 wins with that combination so far in the series. And both of these teams have highs like that, and then you've got lows like Bad English on Control when they're trying to path back in and around the point. And this is still a very difficult matchup to analyze. And I think Honeybadgers, they're better at definitely executing their win conditions and walking around the map. But Bad English might have like those little chimes where they ring the little chime bell, and then suddenly like a burst of innovation comes in, or a burst to have a good play comes in. I feel like they've got more of those clutch moments, and that's like cheesy analysis speak, because usually you don't like be like, this team's just more clutch. But that's kind of how I feel like Bad English right now. They clutched up a lot on that defense.
Yeah, and really the clutch moments mattered most in the mid-fight, but once they had the ultimate advantage, I feel like they almost had trouble reining in that sort of clutch energy. You're like, yeah, I want to get another team kill, and then you commit a Blizzard right in the mid-fight, and that goes on to no one. Like, you need to be able to rein in that aggression, otherwise you're just going to be easily read and easily punished.
Yeah, and this is interesting, because look at this positioning from Bad English on the offense. They want to try and take this high ground. They've actually managed to make Honeybadgers rotate. That's a forced rotation. That's good. Although it is also nice to see Honeybadgers moving in and around the map. And look, Bad English, this is better. This is the type of role I want to see. Constantly moving around the map and constantly trying to out-rotate your opponents. I love it.
Low going for the early wall, but not going to find anything, so without the maze in play, it's going to be a straight-up slugfest. Dennis, though, doesn't quite have the resources that Balthazar does. They go dangerously low, and they have to play very passively behind their shield. Eventually, that shield's going to break, though, and Balthazar is going to help Takuno get the punish. Now Takuno without a shield in the way. You know it's just a firing range for them. A 1 target, a 2 target, as Jaeger gets the cleanup.
I did like something from Honeybadgers, though, is that when they actually went for their engagement, they kind of counter-engagement from when Bad English got to that high ground, they waited until it was the best burst engagement for them. It was the particular engagement that you take in a Zarya Brawl composition, whereas Bad English, it was typical, like, Ryan Diva Brawl engagement, but you don't have the consistency of the defense matrix to help you there.
Ooh, but the Ant Matrix is one matrix that's online for them, and they use it to get rid of Grimkin so early in the fight. Not going to be building to that sound barrier, not going to be using the speed boost, and with that fight, elimination so early, Bad English is going to go for the prolonged poke fight, which is going to benefit them because Abens goes down very late. Now, it's going to be delicious going down to that slam, but they're going to survive, and now they are alive with the dragon if they wanted to, but with these kills, I don't think they need it. They had the speed advantage after Grimkin came back, and it was just easy to surge on and let Dennis get the cleanup.
What is it with our shadows on that corner and there's no follow-up today? It's just not happening. And Honeybadgers making the swap over the Diva, I think I like this because it means they have a response to the Blizzard, the Dragon Strike, and the Graviton Surge in this next fight. I mean, they've got other answers like using their Blizzard before anything else comes out, but it gives them a lot more.
Ooh, and there are both Blizzards coming out, neither of them eaten, and that means it's just a cold war going on. But the blue team, Color Ice, is going to get the advantages. Bad English are able to just win through their Blizzard alone. The sound barrier was a nice touch, but that Blizzard really coming out delayed helped them.
Yeah, it's just a nice option to have a diva who can provide that extra utility, right? It just is another thing that you could coordinate into your fight plan. And this is another one of those situations. Grab drag, you've got immortality field, you're almost up to a sound barrier in the mid fight, and you're also going to have your diva. You've got a couple of options here.
Oh, but they're not able to get the immortality field once again, but they're able to punish Honeybadgers before they can get the healing out. Pikachu does fall, though. Even though Honeybadgers are on such low health, Abends, their sound barrier saves the team right there. And now they're all healed up to get right back into the engage with a man up. This is looking good right now for Honeybadgers, and they're pressing the advantage. We have seen they know how to hold W in these brawl scenarios, and without Zarya being there, they're looking to capitalize. But onto that rotation, Balthazar, they get that capitalization. Oh, man, a 4-person shatter to end this fight.
Yeah, and that was a really, really strong fight for Honeybadgers because, again, they were struggling with the Ground Dragons earlier in this series, but not anymore, right? They know how to use these immortality fields on the corner. They know how to pressure out the Graviton Surge. They know how to make that kind of force Bad English to make that engagement because they know how they want to execute that combo now. I think that's a really cool adaptation. I think that's an adaptation point that we talked about earlier in the show. Honeybadgers, they seem to be a strong adaptation team.
Yeah, but this is a fight that is not quite adapting to. We've seen it plenty of times before. The double amp matrix going up immediately as it's going to be Bad English losing a person and forced to give up the high ground. Oh, a very aggressive play right there from Sven, though, dropping right down in front of the entire team to try and freeze Dennis. It's not going to work out for them, though, as Dennis does go for the shatter. It goes right into Balthazar's shield. Now Balthazar is about to have another shatter. The bomb goes high, but I don't think anyone wants to commit ultimates right now as Grimkin finding Abends, though, might be the opening that Bad English won. It's going to be up to Balthazar to shut down this aggression with the shatter. They're trying to build up to it, but the Grab Dragon is coming up closer and closer, and Balthazar falls right as they go for the charge. Not going to be able to shatter in this fight as Dennis gets time to build up to an ultimate of their own.
I think Sven's wall and Jaeger's tiny stall is going to allow for Honeybadgers to take another fight. They're going to have 3 or 4 ultimates to do it. They will have the amplification matrix on engagement, but they'll have it as a mid-fight tool, which is still good enough. It's about the battle of the Blizzards.
Yep, this is a scenario we saw Bad English win out on last time, and they have the sound barrier to help them survive the high noon from Takuno. Takuno almost falls for pulling out the gun like that, as that was a nice reactionary ult right there from Grimkin to help save the team, and now they only have to get most of the way through the 3rd point to get a point on the board.
Yeah, they can get themselves right back in level terms in their series. Honeybadgers making the swap back over to the Zarya. They want to take this first brawl matchup. The problem is that means you reset your ultimate economy. And look what's online for Bad English. It is the Graviton Surge Dragon Strike combination. Let's see if they can execute it.
We have not been seeing them break the immortality field early enough, Ocean, and that is my main thing I'm looking for. If they're able to bait that out very early, I'm feeling good about them in this fight. Unfortunately, only catching 1 in the dragon right there. Balthazar might be enough, though, because that main tank being out of the picture means the rest of the team is an easy cleanup. Now that golden box victory is right there. Who's going to get out there? It's going to have to be a Jaeger jumping out. It's going to be Sven stalling for a moment in the ice block, giving their team a moment, but Jaeger gets shattered. They're not able to get onto the point, and there's no stall whatsoever. Bad English with the cooldown management, the freeze, the shatter, just enough to stop any sort of recontest from Honeybadgers as they tie this grand finals up 1-1.
We are 1-1, and I feel like a lot of the series has been about the inconsistencies of both teams. We see some fights, the Grab Surge Dragon Strikes pulverize the Honeybadgers, and some fights they do them quite well. And in other fights, Bad English or poor at utilizing their win conditions and poor at rotating, right? The other side, another fight, at it. It's just such an inconsistent series so far, and I feel like this might be these teams are actually well coached, but they are inconsistent. That's why they're in the intermediate division. I feel like that's what I'm kind of getting from this. But it is a very hard narrative to write, but it's an interesting one nonetheless.
And we'll see how that narrative continues to be written out. Will Honeybadgers be able to continue their adaptation, or will Bad English's moments of clutch help them outshine all the way to the victory? We'll see the conclusion to that right after this break. Welcome back, everybody, to the grand finals of the intermediate division of GitGud Limited EU. It is really a slugfest right now, tied up 1-1, and the main difference we saw from Bad English when they tied it up on Rialto was really in the backline with the Lucius.
Yeah, this was a very interesting map because map 1 more about rotations, map 2 more about win conditions. And let's talk about win conditions because look at the healing dumpers, and we're gonna look at that first before we look at the actual more interesting stat to me. This is the kind of the basic stat. 9.1k healing, 7.1k, sorry, 6.1k healing to 4.7k healing for 10. Look at that. That is maybe 1.4k healing. That's like another ultimate every 10 minutes. So if it's a 20-minute game, that's 2 extra sound barriers for Grimkin on Bad English. Is this due to Abens dying early a lot? Is it due to how their team's setting up at the start of a fight and how they're sharing ultimate charge? I have no clue.
But the real difference for me comes through when we look at how aggressive Grimkin has been leading their team in these initiations. I mean, they're getting close to doubling Habens in eliminations.
Yeah, what I actually really like is look at the offensive assists. I like this the most. 17 to 14. You may think that's not that big of a much, but in Brawl, when you can displace constantly and you can kind of pest your Reinhardts a lot and make the matchup so much easier for your main tank and your Mei and your McCree, in particular those 3 heroes, I think that is a big telling sign of what is a good Lucio player. When they know how to help an engagement and also when to pester, when to annoy, when to make it difficult for the opposition. And Grimkin, those extra 3 offensive assists, that's the 3 extra kills that maybe are probably at the start of the fight. So I feel like Bad English in the mid-fight are pretty good, but just executing their win conditions earlier was poor, but I think I do feel that Grimkin is getting a lot more value on the Lucio despite Honeybadgers probably being the better team at rotate.
Yeah, and we're going to have to keep an eye on those rotations coming out. Into our next map, it's going to be King's Row, and this is going to really put Bad English to the test. We saw them clean up their Brawl comp quite a bit on Rialto, but this is the real test of that improvement, because if they're able to keep up that pestering, keep up that pressure onto Balthazar, it might be a bit of a different story than what we saw in Rialto.
What I actually really like is I did get it exactly right. Grimkin did use exactly 2 more sound barriers than Albans, and I'm just going to take credit for that because I did that math in my head, like based on what the ultimate costs were. I'm really impressed with myself. But anyways, Bad English here on the defense. This is probably a map that wouldn't suit them, other than the fact that they are, when the win conditions are simplified for them, that's going to help them. And Grav Dragon is a pretty easy win condition to have on this point, but Honeybadgers, they're probably the more aggressive team. They like to move around the map more, and it's King's Row, a snowball map. I feel like this sort of burst brawl map is kind of in favor of Honeybadgers. I think this is going to turn into a map pick favorite playstyle series, and this is going to get really interesting. Let's see if Bad English can go against the grain.
Yeah, too many people caught in that split for Bad English to call hard engage, so they're just going to hold back in their secondary location as Ven goes for the isolation play. Not going to quite catch Dennis, but they still end up on the other side of the wall. That's going to be a lot of abilities committed to keep Dennis alive, but not quite enough, as Jaeger will eventually finish them once the immortality field falls. Now you don't have that main tank here. It's going to be up to Lol to try and find some sort of isolation play, but instead it's just a really aggressive engage from Bad English, and without a main tank, that's never going to work out in your favor, as one by one they fall like bowling pins as Honeybadgers, they are ready to go right down the alley of King's Row.
Yeah, this is one of those maps for me where Honeybadgers, they like to play a more burst brawl style. They like to move around the map more and try and make things difficult for Bad English. I know Grimkin is kind of like an exception to the rule. We saw Grimkin making it difficult for the Honeybadgers in the last team. Look at this stagger. They want to just go in on this, and this isn't even a team fight. This is just pickup kills. This is just how King's Row works. The snowball is moving. Whereas Bad English, look, they want to build up ultimates. They want to use simple team fights and simple win conditions, and this is just going to favor Honeybadgers. This snowball is just going to keep rolling down the hill.
And what I've been seeing since Nepal Ocean is Bad English having trouble on the initiations after they lose a fight. If Honeybadgers are able to keep this snowball going for as long as possible, they are poised to get right into the final point of King's Row.
Yeah, Bad English might not even build those win conditions that we're talking about. They might not have Grav Dragon by the time Honeybadgers make this next engagement. I think they will, but again, Blizzard, another win condition, not online. Wall's dead.
Yeah, and now you're not going to have that wall either to stop this Ant Matrix. You're going to have to commit one of your own to give yourself more firing power, but that is not going to be enough. Exajay with the pick is going to be the only sort of, appearance of the kill feed we're going to see from Bad English as Jaeger firing off. They have a grab of their own while Pikachu is lagging behind, so Bad English not even going to have that win condition starting out this third point.
I want to see Bad English stop thinking about these win conditions. After this Grav Dragon goes off, I want to see them play this exact same composition as Honeybadgers and utilize Grimkin on the Lucio. Let Grimkin displace and then take what engagements you want. Just run at your opposition. Have the confidence in your Lucio.
Ooh, but that's the exact sort of running I would have liked to see if Dennis didn't get caught by the Shatter. Point blank, let it rip. And now it's the immediate follow-up. The grab has no shield to block it. The Immortality Field was already committed, but Jaeger took it out immediately.
This is the perfect map pick for Honeybadgers. They like to play fast. Again, they're out-rotating Bad English. They're walking into them constantly. Bad English aren't playing at a fast enough pace. This is where this has to change. Otherwise, you're not going to get your win conditions. You're Grav Dragon off.
But that is the opener you needed. That's the turnaround. Dennis saving the team right there with the Shatter stepping right around the wall, right into the firing line, and Pikachu happy to clean up. Even without full energy, they are still a major threat.
Yeah, and only one ultimate to win a team fight, or sorry, two as well, if you include the sound barrier as well. It didn't really have too much of an effect on the fight in general. But they have ultimates to work with here, Bad English, right? That's what they like to work with. Ultimates. Galaton Surge, Dragon Strike. They like to work with Blizzard. They like to work with those sort of things. The problem is those neutral fights. The problem is when it's just aggression versus aggression and natural role play, that's where they're going to struggle.
Alright, that's an immediate Grav Dragon. They break the field at instant 6k. That is the cleanest Grav Dragon we've seen so far.
Yeah, that's it. They're gonna win conditions. What can I say? That's a 6k Graviton Surge Dragon Strike combination. And let's slow things down, because that's what Bad English need to do. They don't have that many options. They've got maybe the Matrix at the start of the fight, and maybe that May ultimate reactively. Look what Honeybadgers have. They can just go with the sound barrier.
And go they do. Getting the charge right onto Dennis, but Grimkin in the backline finds Takuno. That's a lot of the mid-fight damage gone without the McCree. With the spawn advantage, chance for a stabilization right here, but Jaeger is getting these retreating kills. Oh, Grimkin stalling out the point, 70% on that sound barrier. Where will they get it?
I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at the Lucios, I'm thinking, if they swap teams, this matchup would be absolutely brilliant. Here comes the ball recontest from Jaeger. Dennis has the Earth Shatter, but it's frozen. Oh, that ultimate's not going to be online.
Not going to get a chance to use that, and Pikachu is the only thing keeping the point alive, but they go off the edge. And that's a 3-minute time bank on Kings Row Ocean off the back of that final Shatter right there.
Yeah, this map does suit Honeybadgers, but this is just a thought telling in my brain as I was saying. Like, imagine Grimkin on Honeybadgers right now. Like, imagine that. She would be excellent because she's really good at getting these aggressive plays, these disruption plays, and that really suits the aggressive style. Whereas a Benz, I kind of feel, apart from that one aggressive sound barrier fight, doesn't really fit the playstyle of Honeybadgers, and maybe that actually is a good thing for them because otherwise they would just be inting. Right? Like I can imagine that, but I do kind of feel like these Lucios are kind of on different sides of the mark here. I do like both of these Lucio players. I think they're great for intermediates here, and I think it was a great thing to highlight at the break. Now then, the big question for me is, how do Bad English, a team that like to play with win conditions, build up enough win conditions to match a 3-minute and 3-second time bank?
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're going to stick with the far. I think that's scouting. To me, what I'm really looking for is just some sort of way to get more consistent picks. Because the picks are what's really letting them get those win conditions online. It's what lets them build up to those ultimates. We don't really get to see that often, to be honest. The defense has just been too good on the side of Honeybadgers.
I do feel like they're kind of sitting in the a little bit of the middle playstyle wise. I feel like Dennis and Grimkin really want to play aggressively. I think maybe X-Siege could be put in that bracket as well, and then the other three just kind of want to sit back and do their own thing. And that's exactly what's happened. Bob's down.
Yeah, you don't want to commit the immortality field that early. You're relying on some healing, but you're not quite able to get it. And now, Bad English, they get the nice disengage, but with the shield growing lower and lower, the crack showing, they're just barely able to get to safety.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm saying. I see Dennis and Grimkin want to make this move, and Bob is just maybe a couple seconds behind, wanting to play the reactive playstyle. I think they're sitting in the middle a little bit too much.
Ooh, an excellent play around that wall right there. Bad English not getting caught by Sven. And now, without the walls in play, they have a nice opportunity. Balthazar gonna fall to the superior mid-fight advantage that Xsiege brings on the Reaper. And now, they have a huge opening right now. Bad English, they can't drop it here. The amplification matrix is going to drop down now. It's the last chance, but it's really just gonna cover the retreat of Honeybadgers. They can't even get an angle to use it with. As Bad English, they have a solid stake on this point. The re-engage, though, I think it's coming in, Ocean. They're looking to surge back onto this point, but their immortality field already committed. It's enough time for Tekuna to find Pikachu. That might just be enough, especially off of that grab. Dennis stops the punish on the grab with the shatter, and even though it's a very scary situation when those ultimates get committed, Honeybadgers, they're gonna get bitten for it, as that is going to be an eventual point capture.
Yeah, and that was a lot better from Bad English. They kind of actually supported what their main tank, wants to do, how their main tank wants to play. I feel like if they kind of lean towards what Honeybadgers are playing like and leaning into how Grimkin and Dennis want to play, I feel like they're going to be in a really good spot. I feel like this could be a really good matchup if they lean into that. If they kind of just sit in the middle and sit on the fence about things, Honeybadgers are going to win this map, right? They have a 3-minute and 3-second time bank. They're going to take more team fights. Now it's about Bad English doing what they do best. Win conditions, Blizzard Online.
Oh, and that's huge. Catching everybody. The immortality field has to be committed just to save people from that blizzard, but it's not enough. It's immediately taken down by Xsiege, and this is looking like a roll right now. But Takuno finding Grimkin means they don't have the speed boost to get the follow-up, the stagger kills right now, as... Ooh, Bad English, they have to play carefully. They're dropping lower. They're losing a lot of resources as Dennis is to charge back to their team.
I'm going to get my angry hat out and say that Grimkin really shouldn't have died there, but Bob was way too far back. I feel like, again, a player is caught in two minds of how to play this game, and that can't happen every so often, because now look what happens. They come back in with the blizzard.
Oh, but that's a very far charge right there. Balthazar doesn't have a sound barrier like the rest of Bad English has. Now, with this grab being dropped down, the only thing saving them is the immortality field. Aben's popping the sound barrier late into that grab, helps their team restabilize, and now Jaeger can go back in with a grab of their own. Might not be enough right there, though, as Siege doing a great job at punishing anyone who wants to go near that grab.
Yeah, Dennis gonna try and stop Honeybadgers from getting in here, but you know the Honeybadgers, they're gonna take a fight if they can sniff it.
Oh, get a whiff of that right there. The black smoke clearing out the rest of the Honeybadgers as they try to get through that narrow choke point, but all the cooldowns were committed to save them from the other ultimates, and once that was done, Xsiege, well, they knew what button to press. Yeah,
this team fight right here is gonna be the real test for me for Bad English and how they're playing this series. I want to see them be a little bit more aggressive. This is one of them neutral team fights where there's not many ultimates online until the mid fight. You want to try and win it fast.
Oh, but it's not a fast fight indeed, as Xsiege goes up onto the high ground and finds two people waiting for them. But Dennis with the follow-up, but who's going to follow up on it? Bob is the only one to get any sort of kill, but this is still an even fight, even after that four-person shatter. This is a full charge Pikachu, though, de-meching Jaeger, and they're looking for more cleanup kills. There's no one who dares to get into Pikachu's line of sight, as it's just the shield of Balthazar that saves the team at the end.
Honeybadgers, they have ultimates to come out with, but they need to get out and take this fight properly. This Blizzard, this Matrix have got to be perfect.
The immediate grab right there, but the blizzard prevents a lot of the follow-up, but still, they manage to sneak through. Bad English get the punish. Bob is the only one to go down, which means spawn advantage could be a factor right now, but I don't think they're going to get it out, as Bad English actually beats Honeybadgers time bank on their own counter pick. After they look so good on the attack, Bad English come right back around like a boomerang to hit them.
Yeah, both of these teams did make mistakes at times, but it was a lot more consistent for Bad English, right? They had maybe two mistakes, courtesy of Bob, maybe not wanting to play that more aggressive playstyle that Grimkin and Dennis want to play, they would probably prefer an aggressive play style that Honeybadgers are also really good at in those neutral fights. You saw the neutral fights traditionally went towards the Honeybadgers. So we are seeing a trend that the aggressive play style in those neutral fights is the way to go. But the second mistake that Bob made wasn't punished and actually led to Honeybadgers making their own mistake. We saw Balthazar make that charge right into the backline. And honestly, I think that mistake is worth at least a minute and a half on the clock. Like, that's an extra team fight right there. And particularly with how Bad English like to take their team fights, that's probably about 90 seconds.
And a bit of a lighthearted display right here from Bad English, showing their mental is in top shape for this defense. It's been a quick point A for both teams, but now they have a good read on how their opponent wants to rotate. Gonna see how they can use that knowledge to try and catch someone out, get up stronger point A hold.
Yeah, this could be interesting. Maybe Honeybadgers, like you can probably specify that Honeybadgers are the rattle right now. Are they going to continue their aggressive playstyle after maybe Balthazar's charge? Maybe they're going to be a little less confident, and that could allow Bad English right back into the mix of things.
Yeah, we're looking for the split of some kind right now, but it's a little slow on the Bay wall. Lol not going to catch it. Now it's up to Sven to try and find it. If they don't find a wall, it's going to be a straight up slugfest. Once again, a pick already taken as Bad English rotate around trying to get the flank attack, but they didn't have the shield up to save Pikachu. This isn't looking good for them, Ocean, as Dennis goes down as well. They're able to get the freeze onto Balthazar, which lets Bad English get some ultimate charge after that big beefy tank, but ultimate charge is the only victory afforded to them, as the point is looking to flip over to the Honeybadgers.
Honeybadgers, they play that fight extremely well, punishing their opponents. But Bad English, actually not a bad team fight from them. They make a mistake and they hide back in the hotel and try to make a really cool rotation. It's just unfortunate that they didn't quite get the pacing and the timing right at that rotation. The actual rotation and the concept itself, very, very good. It's better than what they've been doing all series long. The problem now for them is that Honeybadgers are a little bit closer to their ultimates, but both teams will have the same tools to engage with. Both teams have the amp matrix. Let's see how both teams get the better of that.
Yeah, we're probably going to see the double bay window come out. Double damage from both sides, but the wall prevents most of the follow-up. As Lol grows very close to that blizzard. That could be the fight turner right now, but Jaeger with that bomb. You can never underestimate it. Sliding off the roof to find both supports. Bad English, this is the worst case scenario for you right now. You had a great win condition coming up with that blizzard, and now it's full retreat, but you can't get out, and all that ultimate charge is going straight back to your opponents.
I think if they notice where Bad English are right now, this could be even worse. It doesn't look like they are going to chase up those kills. If they did, it could be really dangerous for Bad English, actually. So they're getting a little bit lucky here because, look, Dennis is still in low health trying to get that healing. I'm not sure Honeybadgers realize. And there is going to be one more team fight on point B with dueling blizzards.
Yeah, it's the early high noon, but the immortality field will prevent that follow-up as the late blizzard from Honeybadgers is gonna cover Lulz. Now this is looking dicey for them, even with the sound barrier from Grimkin. There's no one to really benefit from it. It's just a stall fight right now, Ocean, as Honeybadgers, with a shatter under their belt as well, seem poised to get a lot more distance in the third point.
It's not looking good for Bad English right now. They haven't been able to take the team fights there. Why Honeybadgers are setting the pace of this game. The plus side for them, though, is they could get a pretty easy fight here because they've got like a couple of ultimates, Graviton Surge, they've got Death Blossom as well in the mid fight. Whereas Honeybadgers only really have that Earth Shatter, but with the way Honeybadgers are playing, Balthazar could just get a massive slam. We'll see how this works out.
No massive slam for them, going straight into the wall as they go for the charge isolation play right there. Balthazar falls very low, and without that immortality field, they're going to go down and X-Siege with the Death Blossom to the back line. That has been a fight winner time and time again, and it gives Bad English a ray of hope. They're not going to have to face a six score line. They have a win condition. They just need to get all the way to that third point, which has proved difficult.
And this is the thing. Bad English, they did have that win condition for the last fight. The problem is they really shouldn't be getting that far in 2 minutes. It was a really nice last team fight, and it is going to give you some confidence going into your next run, and this is doable for Bad English. But Honeybadgers, I just feel like they're playing with a little bit more confidence. I feel like this is their map pick, this is the style they want to play, and I still have that feeling that Bad English have some players who want to play aggressive, others who don't. I feel like it's just a mix of two minds right now. Maybe that needs to be sorted out. Like in between maps, they have got to sort out that problem. Otherwise, they will be in a bit of trouble. Not to say either of these teams are bad at any sort of means. I think Bad English has improved in their rotations over the course of the series. I think Honeybadgers has improved in the sort of win conditions, what ultimates are online. But I feel like Bad English are still caught in two minds of what way to play.
And that story of two minds has to be resolved now. A house divided upon itself is not going to give you a good scoreline on King's Row, let's be honest. And you're going to have to get these good rotations and actually be ready to follow up once you get through. Bad English going to be going for a high ground rotation, a different showing than what we saw last time, and they get the clean jump across, giving them complete high ground control over the Honeybadgers. How are they going to use it?
What I like is Honeybadgers are moving backwards. They're waiting to rotate back in to Bad English, and this is really good rotating for both sides.
Ooh, especially with Dennis falling low, but it's Balthazar who falls first, and Dennis gets the healing that they need in the end, which means, ooh, Bad English, they are looking strong right now. Even with some late kills, I'm not sure Honeybadgers are going to have the time to do the recontest that they did before because they don't get the clean disengage. As, oh, not able to hit that headshot that would have ended Jaeger's life.
Both teams are coming up to the challenge here of this grand finals. Both teams trying to match each other on rotations. And this is the brawl matchup I wanted to see. This is the brawl matchup I'm excited to watch as both teams now setting up for point B. And this is a really important team fight for Bad English, or even not even a team fight, just a poke engagement, right? Because this poke engagement determines whether the start of the next fight you have an Ant Matrix, the start of the next fight you have a Blizzard. If they have those ultimates online, this becomes an easier task for them.
This corner right here is where we've seen two game-deciding mistakes right here. One from Honeybadgers, one from Bad English. If one team makes it now, it's going to mean that Honeybadgers aren't going to have another chance to fight until the third point. As Dennis, they have this Shatter on lock. They're looking, but Pikachu is isolated. They're barely able to get out there, and Grimkin in the rotation falls. Not going to have that aggressive Lucio on your back now. A nice set of ultimates coming up from the side of Bad English. They're going to have that Grav Dragon as Honeybadgers continue giving up space. Dennis.
I don't like that call. I feel like you got to engage because this Grav Dragon's going to be online now, and you don't want to be the second team to use ultimates here. You're going to put yourself under so much pressure.
Dennis goes for the very optimistic Shadow, doesn't catch anyone, but buys space for their team as Balthazar is forced into this little alleyway in King's Row. Oh, Takuno firing back though, but that's the Grav Dragon we've seen, cleaning up the fight. Not the huge fight win, but in overtime you take what you can get.
Yeah, I think that's a good fight win for them because it cleans them up. It also means that they're gonna get closer to their sound barrier. They have a little bit more time before the opposing Graviton Surge is online. During Blizzards, again, the story in this next fight, Bad English making the swap over to the Moira, which additionally means that they have to play fast. Otherwise, they won't be able to sustain themselves because the Moira will run out of healing.
LoL needs to be aggressive with this Blizzard right now, and it goes out on cue because Honeybadgers have the ultimates to follow up upon the Blizzard, but despite that, they go 2-2, but this is looking nice. It's a 3v3 on the point right now, but it's healers and tanks for Bad English, but that's a nice sound barrier from Abens that gives Honeybadgers the health they need. Everyone's a tank right there, but Dennis now has the Shatter. They have the tools to get through here, but it's a Zarya bubble. It's broken by the Shatter, but it might not be enough. They need to get back in the point now, though. Honeybadgers, they're full stall mode. They're looking for some sort of boop, anything to keep this team fight going. As Bad English, they're almost at the coalescence. That could be the win condition right there, as it's going to be Balthazar spinning to win on the point, but that's a massive chunk of burst damage. Dennis getting the charge onto them, and with the coalescence as well, making the stall almost impossible. Bad English, they're poised. They're on the precipice of victory. They need to push it over the edge, though, and with this orb stopping Takuno from stalling on the Tracer, it'll be the turnaround of the grand finals. Bad English coming in clutch, getting this up to the 2-1 scoreline for them on Honeybadgers counter pick of all places.
This is super interesting now to me because Bad English in that last round, they're all playing as a unit. They're all playing that aggressive style that they probably shouldn't play. That looks a lot better on them, doesn't it? When they're all in the same mindset, they're a very good team. Honeybadgers, they were all on the same page the entire time. However, when it comes to win conditions, when it comes to dueling Blizzards and getting value out of those ultimates, We saw in that last team fight, Jilling Blizzard again, Bad English win the team fight. So it's by executing those plays a little bit better on Honeybadgers. And for Bad English, you're not going to like me saying this, it's about not slipping back into that mindset of, should we play aggressive? No, just go. Just start running. Just start running at the enemy team.
And what I saw from Honeybadgers in that last fight with the dueling blizzards almost reminds me of what we saw from Bad English on the first map in Nepal. I mean, Honeybadgers, they had a high noon, they had a sound barrier to get in there to brawl, and they had the blizzard online as well. They had so many tools to follow up on the blizzard that they were about to throw out, but Bad English, with no ultimates, they managed to keep their cool and get the same amount of picks that Honeybadgers got with a massive investment.
And additionally, Bad English's rotations have been a lot more consistent. I think that it's been better from them. I think they're constantly moving around the map. I think that Honeybadgers have been still being like around the same. But I would actually say rotations-wise, we were kind of like at Honeybadgers here, Bad English here. Honeybadgers kind of said the same, and Bad English are kind of moving up to here, right? It's kind of that situation of Bad English are improving their rotations and improving other areas of pacing, whereas Honeybadgers are keeping their same playstyle, keeping their same mindset, but not improving by dealing with those win conditions more consistently. They had their moments on Rialto, but it wasn't quite enough to win a map.
And they have one more map to turn around this grand finals. Otherwise, the title in the GGEU intermediate division isn't going to be theirs. And the map they have chosen to be their final stand, it's going to be the Temple of Anubis, an assault map to decide it all, as they try to figure out what they can do after that amazing turnaround from Bad English.
And this is weird because this is a completely different map to King's Row. This is a map where you maybe don't want to play as aggressive. Maybe you want to poke a little bit more often. And you would think maybe that would theorize and help Bad English because they are caught in these two minds. But also then you might still get the actual opposite effect of, now Bob wants to play more aggressive because they play more aggressive and their team won. And then now we're on a poke map. So it's a little bit of a weird situation. It's definitely going to be confusing and difficult for both of these teams to go into Temple of Anubis. But I think this is a cool pick because it changes the series, right? This is not about the rest of the series. This is about Temple of Anubis and how you're playing on this particular assault map.
And one thing we brought up a lot in the beginning is Bad English from their preferred heroes seem to have a pocket double bubble, so to speak. And we said it was unlikely to see it, but if there was any map from what we've seen thus far that I would run it on, Temple of Anubis is a definite option.
Yeah, I like that. I like running double bubble on the offense against poke. I even like it on the defense, honestly, in case your opponent's on brawl on the offense. I think the double bubble is definitely a really good option here, and I would for Bad English if they truly do have it in their line.
Yeah. The only question about it that I would have, though, is what if you're warmed up on the brawl? Do you really want to switch it up? I mean, Bad English, they have adrenaline pumping through their veins. I'm curious how that's going to affect them right now. Are they they're just going to stick to the brawl on the defense. And this is almost a straight meta composition. The only thing is it's going to be Pikachu trying to stay on the high ground as opposed to a D.Va who could go down to get some picks.
Yeah, this is a little bit different because, again, Pikachu on Azaria wants to brawl a little bit more and do burst brawl, so wants to make the fight a little bit quicker. That's a unique pick. Both teams are going for that matchup, maybe a little bit more simple for them to play, especially in the intermediate division. I think that makes sense. What I'm a little bit confused though is now we see Skillicious back in the lineup. So Exceed, she had a really good match. She played really well in the Honda Ball. Got 6k. So yeah, let's see how this works out.
Skillicious, we did see had some amazing isolation play. The walls were a little bit better timed from them because it's not going to be lull on the May anymore, and you could see that wall immediately isolated Jaeger. That was a nice opener, and even though they do lose Grimkin, Balthazar going down means Honeybadgers have no way to initiate.
Yeah, I mean, you lose your Lucio, right? But does that really matter to you right now? Your Lucio's getting back before the next fight. And with Grimkin, the way they're playing, they're just gonna wanna play aggressive. I think dying for them is a good thing because that means they're looking for the plays that they should be looking for. With the way that Bad English are now playing, and I feel like just keep the aggression, keep the way you've been playing now. Don't fall back into old habits here.
Oh, and the flashbang, make sure Sven can't get into the ice block in time. That means it's going to be Honeybadgers playing with a player down. Now, they are trapped in this little room. I know Dennis wants to push that Q button, but they're just going to hold the advantage for now as Bad English resume their stance on the high ground.
And then let's take a little break to look at ultimates. We've got dueling amplification matrices for this next fight. Sven is a little bit higher on Blizzard, however Skillicious has been providing a lot more with the ice walls. Let's watch these amp matrices to see how the value goes.
Skillicious maintaining the same position as before. Oh, and that's an early wall right there. Maybe a bit itchy trigger finger, and that means that Skillicious isn't going to be there. They're going to be trapped behind enemy lines, just barely escaping back to their team now as Balthazar. They do have the Shatter on lock, but playing from the inside. Low, a very optimistic high noon, unprotected, but the turnaround did let the tanks get the punish on anyone who wasn't looking their way as Dennis chops right back to punish Pikachu's grab.
Honestly, I don't care about the Graviton Surge killing 4. I care about that sound barrier. Saving the last couple of members who were on low health, that Lucio healing alone is not going to save you. I'm not have time to set up for the next point. The problem now for Bad English, you don't have that Graviton Surge. You don't have that sound barrier. Honeybadgers, they're going to have those ultimates. The question is, how do they execute them? And how do they deal with the opposing ultimates? Because they have not been good at dealing with their opponent's ultimates. Like the Graviton Surge in the previous fight, potentially like the Blizzard 9.
Skillicious jumping off the high ground right there, maybe for a sneaky Blizzard play, but that means their team doesn't have a wall to help them. And now they're boosting back up to try and get the late Blizzard, but the fight is already lost. This is looking very suspect right now for Bad English, as there's not even a chance of a recontest as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I very much thought that maybe you could get a couple of members on the point just to touch for a little bit. I was sure that Grimkin will want to do that, or they're just going to back off. I can't really tell. I think they're just going to back off, set up for point B. The problem for Bad English in that last fight for me is, realistically, your opponents had an ultimate advantage, but you only forced one of them out because you weren't playing fast enough. They were playing faster than you, so... Yeah, a pretty fight for Honeybadgers and a poor fight for Bad English. The inconsistencies are coming true in this matchup. Honeybadgers, they still have ultimates to work with.
And Balthazar, it's going to be up to them to hit this Shatter to crack this point open. Going for a one-shot fire strike, not going to find it. And now they find themselves isolated. The Immortality Field popped over that wall to save Balthazar's life, and the Shatter finds Grimkin. Oh, and they do get the punish. Tikuna does give their life for it, though, which means it's not a true punish. It was more of a one-for-one, eye-for-an-eye situation, and when you're fighting against a spawn advantage, you never want to take those trades.
Well, that's a perfect team fight for Bad English. Honeybadgers had the ultimate advantage, but that mattered not. No, look at it. Look at it. It's reversed. The ultimate advantage is now with Bad English because they did so much damage and healing in that fight that they were able to build up to the ultimates a little bit quicker. And that's how, well, the ultimates work. First and foremost, Graviton Surge, they have Deadeye. I would like to see a quick team fight from them with the Deadeye and try and maybe get a pick, because obviously on Assault that's going to be enough to probably win a team fight. Honeybadgers, I want to see them maybe play at an even faster pace with the Blizzard, or even a mid-fight pace to get to the mid-fight and then use the Blizzard. Let's see how these teams execute those DPS ultimates.
Pikachu does get caught, but that is a charge all the way to the back. Balthazar, no way to get peel for that, but they don't actually get punished for it. Instead, Sven dropping that Blizzard is going to enable them to freeze and execute Grimkin. Now, this is a massive foot in the door right here for Honeybadgers. They're looking to press the advantage as far as they can, and with the Matrix bottling up Bad English, they have a very good chance to take this. They just need to get rid of the stolen Grimkin, and they've done some great stalls before, but against Akuno, I don't think so. Now, it's going to be all stall heroes coming out right now, but Skillicious with the Blizzard buys a lot of time for Dennis to get back there with the Shatter. This is the opener that they need. They need to get at least one kill off of this, because 2 ultimates committed for nothing is not enough. Oh, but that might just be the opener you need. Takuno down. This is the opening. It's a 4-person hold right on the point for Honeybadgers, but Balthazar has the Shatter. They still might be able to force this through. Now it's going to be blinking onto the point. Skillicious keeping the timer alive. 1:30 left on the point, and it's almost the respawns back for Bad English as they get the sound barrier down, the Shatter down, and the point in their control. 1:25 is all they will have in the next round.
Yeah, so that fight was always going to be about that Deadeye versus that Blizzard, because one is used at the forefront of the fight. Usually, a Deadeye is a very high tempo ultimate. You use it at the start of the fight or near the end of the fight, or like any sort of engagement, really. Like if you do like a soft engagement or a hard engagement, that Deadeye is really good in those sort of high tempo situations. So when Bad English don't get anything out of that high tempo situation that they were enforcing for their Deadeye, they're in trouble because now suddenly we're in the mid fight. That's where Blizzard's good. Honeybadgers have a Blizzard. Fight's over. Fight done from there. Because in particular, they managed to get Grim down early on, who was 91% to that Soundbiter, which means that support ultimate gone. Everything just kind of fell into place for Honeybadgers, and they took their opportunity. However, and there is a however, 1 minute and 25 seconds? That's not the best time bank.
Yeah, it means you're not going to have amazing potential for ultimates in your attack, so you really want to try and get a good hold now. A lot of the hold that Bad English got was based off the back of Scalicious on that Mei. Not gonna have that this time. It's gonna be Scalicious onto the Hanzo this time. Lol back on the Mei. I think Scalicious might be a bit more of a defensive Mei, as we saw. It's gonna be up to Sven to try and match that, because without those wall plays, I'm not sure how long Honeybadgers can burn off the time bank, but that's an aggressive wall onto the high ground to buy a free rotation to point. But the wall into that bridge is gonna mean there's only 4 people there. Charge from Balthazar goes wide, but that's not really that much of an issue as Dennis is going so low anyways. Pikachu's bubble lets them get inside, but inside is all they will get as Dennis surviving long enough to let Scalicious get onto the high ground. Now Dennis pushes onto the point off the back of the Zarya. Takuno, they get 1 kill. They see Scalicious on the high ground, but that's the only thing they'll find as taking that slow engage.
Yeah. I really like this. Like, Grip can set up a really nice boom to force Honeybadgers into that room. It was a really uncomfortable engagement for them, and especially when Scalicious is taking its off angle on the top left. Brilliant play for Bad English. That's one of the best team fights they've had all afternoon or evening, depending on where you are. Honeybadgers, right? They are. Let's look at this. They've got that Deadeye. This is a similar situation to what Bad English had on their defense. If this high tempo Deadeye doesn't work out, we're looking at these mid-fight ultimates building up for Bad English.
Now using this Am Matrix for an early opening, and they find the headshot onto Takuno. This is the opening they need. Dennis, they have the Shatter coming up. They have the ultimates to force this through. They need to do it now, though. Otherwise, giving Honeybadgers a chance to get a breath of fresh air is never going to work out. But as Balthazar goes down, Dennis sees their opportunity. They hit that Q button. Now they know Takuno's coming from the side with the high noon. They throw the wall down to block any sort of recontest. The wall drops at the last second, but Takuno didn't have a chance to fire off. And now this is looking like an amazing time bank. A 5-minute, 14-second time bank Ocean. Unheard of on Anubis, but they just got it. And now, Honeybadgers, they have a mountain to climb if they want to make up this deficit and stay in the series.
That is one hell of a time bank. That's 1 minute and 46 seconds to take both points of Temple of Anubis, and that is no easy feat. And, I mean, their first point was probably the best team fight they've played all afternoon. But their second point, right, it was just taking another opportunity. It was a similar team fight to the one that they actually lost themselves on Point B Temple. And it was both teams not utilizing the high tempo ultimate of the Deadeye and then succumbing to the pressure later on because you have no other resources to kind of back that up, or heavy resources like an ultimate to back that up. I mean, maybe Immortality Field. But yeah, now looking at this, 1 minute 25 versus 5 minutes 14. That is a massive deficit to overcome for Honeybadgers. I would be extremely impressed if they could do that, particularly with the way that Bad English are now playing. They're now playing a higher tempo. You can tell because Scalicious is on the Hanzo and Low is on the Mei. This is going to be extremely difficult for Honeybadgers.
And we have to talk about the mental right now too. Like, as they go for the rollout right now, this is one lost fight here, I think, could decide it all, because your mental is already crushed from losing on your counter pick and then just getting swept on your other counter pick. Now, if they lose one person right here, if the wall is too good, I'm not sure how Honeybadgers restabilize. They're looking.
Yeah, it's going to be extremely difficult for them to get back into this, but you have to credit Bad English's mental. They've adapted over the course of the series.
And Lol riding the head of Balthazar. The Immortality Field is there to keep the main tank alive, but Dennis, they're falling dangerously low as well. Trading main tank for main tank right now. Pikachu has the energy advantage, especially as the second wall comes out, isolating Sven. They have a wall of their own to get them out of dodge, but it won't quite be enough, as this is a really prolonged poke fight. It means if Honeybadgers win this point, it's going to be right here and now, and as that fire strike goes through, catches Bob, that might be just what we're seeing. They don't really have the pick potential without Scalicious there. They're going to be coming back with the dragons as it's a slow engage, but these staggered kills definitely favor Honeybadgers.
Yeah, they have the metrics as well, but they will not need it. Honeybadgers will capture points A of Temple of Anubis, and looking at this, right? Honeybadgers actually have the ultimates to go and take both points here. At Matrix, Blizzard, Data, like they're gonna have everything when it comes to the mid fight. But English, though, will have a Grav Drag in the mid fight, and then will Blizzard at the start of the fight. So this is gonna again come to the question: can Honeybadgers deal with bad English's win conditions?
Oh, and the wall isolates Jaeger, and Lol gets the punish. The one-shot headshot, and now there's no tanks on the field with only 15 seconds remaining. This is where you need to use your ultimates now, but Sven, who are you gonna freeze even if you had the chance? I'm not even sure if they get back to the point right now, Ocean. This is looking dicey.
Where's that Benz? Where is the Lucio player? I'm not sure the Lucio player died. They are gonna get the touch.
Oh, a Ben saves the team, gets them the overtime, but it's going to be a shaky engage right here, as it's going to be the dueling blizzards we've seen time and time again, but not quite on equal footing. Jaeger frozen up in that wrecking ball. It doesn't have a long lifespan when it cannot move around, but Honeybadgers, they're able to punish people trying to go for Jaeger, and now in the nick of time they have found their opening onto this point. That touch from Abens, I thought it was a Hail Mary, but now they got 2 ticks on the board, looking to get a third. This is the ultimate turnaround right now. Dennis didn't hit the shatter, and it's all stall heroes. Grimkin coming back with the sound barrier, giving their team a fighting chance, but where are they going to get the kills right now? Missing the punch. Takuno not going to go down, and these stall heroes looking amazing on the side of Honeybadgers. Now, this pulse bomb is the point clearer right now. You need to get the instant pick onto someone returning, and that might just be your ticket into a sizable advantage. The shatter comes from Dennis. It's only going to hit the 2 supports, which is usually a good thing, but who's going to follow up in this hectic helter-skelter situation? But slowly the tides are turning. Sven does go down, and Lol finds Ebroth. As long as they keep the spawn advantage going, it could have been good, but off the point for just too long. Grimkin isn't able to save it, and 4 points on the board. Unheard of right there. I've been saying unheard of a lot right now, but that is exactly what I've been seeing. I didn't think Honeybadgers had it in emotion.
Neither. I mean, simply enough, you look at that situation that they were in, they had to randomly throw a hero on the point to touch. That's not an easy team fight to win. However, you also had to consider the other situation. Bad English didn't look for that Lucio that they knew was alive. You can read the kill feed, you can see that Lucio is alive and is available to touch. They should have been looking for a bend a little bit better. Additionally, they had the ultimates. They've been better at dueling Blizzard. They've been better at dueling Graviton Surges all day long, haven't they? They've been better, the better team at that. Yeah, and they didn't execute their ultimates.
I saw the dueling blizzards come out. I saw this overtime push, and I almost wrote off the fight in my head, and all of a sudden the kill feed lit up. Ocean, what happened in that dueling blizzard that gave Honeybadgers the edge besides the flub from Bad English?
I mean, honestly, probably a termination. Probably because if they lose this map or lose that fight, series done. This is over. Finals done. I think, honestly, a bit of luck and a bit of determination just to finish that fight. I think Bad English thought it was over.
Yeah, I mean, I was with him right there, and now it's a complete mix-up right here. Full poke. You don't have to interact with this brawl more than you have to, so going to be trying to get a pick in the rotation as best you can.
Yeah, this has just got to be all about spam damage, all about building ultimates, and it's all going to be about how fast Bad English play, and also how Honeybadgers rotate, because if Bad English aren't playing fast enough and they do keep their distance, Honeybadgers are in a good spot. If Bad English do rotate fast enough and do put Honeybadgers under pressure, then Honeybadgers are in a bad spot. This is a very 50-50 matchup for both teams.
And Skalicious right now has a great angle onto these hit scan, trying to find Kuno. That could be the opening right there. Dennis, a very optimistic charge, but not going to be punished fully for it. Barely escaping with their life right now as Bob, they have this Ant Matrix online, but with Grimkin going down and a tire close to follow. Ooh, but they eliminate Sven's tire. Not going to get that one-shot potential right there, but in the long fight, the Bad English are not benefiting from just sitting there and going for the poke war. They need to get on top of Honeybadgers, and they're not quite doing that, which is why Honeybadgers are seeing an opportunity to stabilize right now.
Yeah, I think it was a bit slow for Bad English. I think they actually did manage to close the gap on like maybe 2 or 3 occasions in that fight, but then they actually let Honeybadgers get back in their rhythm and poke a little bit more, and that's going to put them in a lot of trouble because now look at the ultimates. They've got Valkyrie, they've got Application Matrix, that's both support ultimates. You can use one as an engagement tool and one in the mid fight. You've also got Gravitic Flux, big win condition.
Ooh, that's a nice Gravitic Flux right there. Catching that Zarya. Oh my, Pikachu barely getting the peel from Bob to survive right there, but once the Immortality Field falls, they'll be close behind it, as this is yet another looking good fight for Honeybadgers, even though they keep losing people in the mid-fight. The long fight always favors bad Honeybadgers.
I feel like this is the moment, if any, that Bad English are going to slip back into old habits and be a little bit more concerned about how they're pushing up. When actually the solution would be to just go faster, right? You know, get on top of your opponent, because that's how Brawl versus Double Shield works. But now they're going to be a little bit worried about how they're playing, and I think they're going to be a little bit overcautious and slip back into old habits, and that could be really bad, not only for this map, but in the future of the series.
Oh, the Hulk catches Grimkin right as they're looking to speed the team in, and it's instantly punished. The rotation dead before it even starts. Honeybadgers don't even have to go to secondary position.
Yeah, I mean, Honeybadgers, look at this. This was a 5-minute time bank. We're down to 2 minutes and 38 seconds, and they still have ultimates as well. They had the Riptire, which is really good for getting a pick at the start of the fight. They've got Bob to make the fights even longer. Gravitic Flux is a win condition. This is just hell for Bad English. They've got to play faster. They've got to get this Reign of Terror done. Otherwise, we're going to a map 5.
And so many resources burned to just get out the door. The Riptire, it's waiting its turn once that sound barrier expires, but it still catches Grimkin regardless. That means there's no rotation, there's no potential, but they're still pushing. They committed the Blizzard already, and spawn advantage is barely there for Bad English, but I don't think they're going to get an opportunity to use it once again. The long fight going the way of Honeybadgers.
The only positive right now for Bad English is that you've got that Graviton Surge and Dragon Strike combination. You've got the Application Matrix to get your face through the door. The problem is, if we are in the mid fight and you haven't got those kills with the Graviton Surge and the Dragon Strike combination, you're in trouble, because I see Gravitic Flux, I see Riptire and Bolt potentially coming online in that mid fight. You've got to win this fight, and you've got to win it quickly. Otherwise, map 5, here we come, and that's going to be a very difficult map for you.
And you can see Jaeger waiting for the Gravitic Flux. They catch Bob on the rotation, but that's a nice grab. Dragon right there catches 2. It's not a guaranteed fight right there, especially with Bob prolonging it. They need to give respect to these tanks. Make sure you're actually playing around their cooldowns, and just rolling around, right-clicking non-stop right there as Lol gets the cleanup. Is just going to be Broth on the point, going to eventually go down, and there is a bit of a spin-to-win situation going on, but I don't think it's going to go on for long, as one chance, maybe, for Bad English to get onto this last point.
And it's a good opportunity as well, because Honeybadgers realistically have maybe the Riptire, maybe that's it. And Bad English have actually ultimates online. They're going to have Deadeye that they can use to start a little fight as a high tempo ultimate. They've got Sound Barrier to either get themselves in or help them sustain. They've got options. Honeybadgers realistically just have the Riptire. It's going to be about how Bad English play around the Riptire and their own win conditions.
Dennis going to be going for this shatter as soon as you can. Balthazar, their shield is not showing any cracks. Going through the backline though, catching 2 with the shatter. The punish is there onto 1. This is a huge opening. You need to seize it. This one pick snowballed into a fight lane last time for Bad English. It needs to again if they want to stay in this series. The overtime going to come out soon, but they're getting some nice kills. You can't go down to this Riptire though. Grimkin does though, as Bob stalls out the point even more. No percentage gained whatsoever, as no one is focusing this Bob. now percentage is finally ticking up. The contest is there, though, from Honeybadgers. No ultimates on the field, but they're coming up on the Mercy ultimate. Albenz is going to have the Valkyrie. It's going to be up to Scalicious or Law. You need to get this Valkyrie Mercy out of the sky. You can't let them buy a good 20 seconds of time with it. Otherwise, that is going to give Honeybadgers way too much room to work with as they go for the punish on the Baby Diva out of the mech. The Valkyrie Mercy still remains in the sky, but she goes for the res, but they're not quite able to get the kill. Escapes with their life right there as the reload comes out. Pikachu now with the grab, going for it on the front line as they fight the Tracer in the back. The grab dragon was built up to for a second time, and with only one on the point, this might have just been the opening that Bad English need as it gets higher and higher and no one gets there. A tied game right now, Ocean. Both finishing in overtime, a minute left for both sides.
Yeah, I think I come back to the fight on point A and think, Honeybadgers had so many ultimates. Where did they go for point B? I didn't even see them go off in the team fight. And now I'm thinking, they must have gone somewhere. The execution must have just been a bit off. And then when we get to point B, they have nothing but the Reptile. And that Reptile, to be fair, does its job. It takes out a support player. That's one kill that is crucial. Was it too late? Probably. But it still got the value that it needed today. And Bad English, a little bit lucky again to capture point B and get back in this series. But again, Honeybadgers were lucky to capture both points as well. So it's kind of like both teams making mistakes or getting a little bit hasty or getting a little bit overconfident just at the wrong moments. And both teams, to be fair, have been taking advantage of those mistakes.
And we have seen Honeybadgers. We talked about Bad English in the beginning, having a lot of clutch potential. Honeybadgers with their backs against the wall have awoken a different beast. This is their time to shine. If they're able to get another attack like they just did, I'm not sure Bad English has it in them to get through another round of Temple of Anubis. So this point right here could decide it.
Yeah, this is difficult to just kind of think about. You know, we've got Bad English on the defense. I feel like their point A holds have been a little bit stronger. I mean, obviously Honeybadgers had that crazy point A hold than the last time. But you kind of think about the consistency of Bad English's holds and the little walls that they get. That might be a little bit better for them. Honeybadgers wise, though, if they get aggressive and get going, it's over.
Dennis going for a very optimistic charge, so gets knocked to the ground, and Honeybadgers get the punish. This could be the opening they need, and it's snowballing hard, Ocean. This is looking like the turnaround that I was not expecting to see. Honeybadgers, it's a clean fight win. They got so much ultimate charge from that, and they're looking to roll right into point B.
Yeah, I mean, they were just playing at such a high pace. They were immediately on that top right rotation. I think they might have caught Bad English off guard. Dennis didn't know what to do except press the pin button and hope for the best, and from there that fight was very, very difficult to win for Bad English. But this is it, right? If you capture point B here, I very much doubt Bad English are going to capture both points. If you get a tick here, you're in a pretty good spot, and there's no ultimates online for either side except maybe the Blizzard and Matrix and Honeybadgers, so this is all Honeybadgers. They have the chance to win this map here and now.
And the M-Matrix buys them the ticket out the door. Honeybadgers, they have a lot of space to work with as they go turn around to try and get the punish onto that Lucius Ven, going for the Blizzard, but able to charge out of there. Dennis preserving their life. Law is the only casualty right there. The elimination is going to matter, though, because there's no DPS on the side of Bad English. It's all in the tanks to find some sort of punish, but that's a massive shatter! 2 down to that. They were on such low health, and through the M-Matrix, the punish was easy. 4 down right now, and there's not even a tick on the board. Honeybadgers didn't get anything on the third point, as only 5 points on the board. I say only. 5 points on the board for Honeybadgers, but they had the opening. They weren't able to capitalize, and now Bad English. This is do or die right now. They have another map to fall back on, but I don't think you want to go back to Control.
Yeah, I don't really think you would, because remember, Bad English lost the first Control map of the series, and it's probably, they looked really bad in that Control map. I'm going to put it bluntly. They looked pretty poor on Control, so they definitely don't want to go back there. And that was, according to what they've given us, their favorite Control map. They said that they like Nepal, so Control is not the way to go here. This is an opening for Bad English, but it's a very difficult one. You've got to either play a lot faster and deal with that poke composition, or come up with something else. And I have no clue what you're going to come up with to deal with that, based on how you played previously into it.
Yeah, what we've seen is Bad English tend to have trouble getting on top of their opponents, especially in high pressure situations. So I'm not sure if they're going to stick with this. Based on the positions that Bad English are holding right now, I think they're going to switch right at the last moment. If they stick with that brawl, they need to have their finger on W. They need to.
Yeah, this is such a weird situation, right? Because Honeybadgers, right? They have 5 points to the board, and with 1 minute usually on the clock, that's going to be enough. But if Bad English play that aggressive style that we know they're capable of and don't get caught in 2 nines, then they're probably going to get more than that. And it's just a question of what is going to happen. What side of both teams are we going to see? Because the inconsistencies have been very real today.
The D.Va has allowed the under-the-bridge rotation to work without even losing their mech. Now, nice positioning on the point forces Honeybadgers to engage onto them, and you can see it's going to be Takuno fishing for some sort of pick. It will be Sven to eventually find it on Skelicious, who is very out of position, but this is not an engage that favors the Honeybadgers. They're just going into the waiting arms of Bad English, as this is a complete turnaround. They definitely, it took them 5 minutes, let's be honest, but they did find a way around that double shield composition.
Yeah, that was a lot faster and a lot more proficient for Bad English. That's the exact team fight you won. And now this is a situation where this is already a good situation, because if they do lose this map, it's 2-1 going into control, isn't it? It's 2-1 going into control, and that's good for them because that means they have another map to fall back on after control, which is good for them because they weren't great at control. In this situation now, right here, right now, they have the opportunity to win the map. Right, they've got Dennis at 82% of the Earth Shatter, and they've been a clutch play last time, but they've got to deal with the Riptire first, and it's coming in behind them.
It's usually Pikachu who deals with that, but they're not in the backline, so the tire goes uncontested, and it finds 2. Both supports down right as you engage. That's it. I'm calling it. There's no way you're coming back from this one, as it's going to be a draw. We are going to a guaranteed map 6, right? Oh, wait, not guaranteed map 6. We are going to control as Bad English. This is really extending the lifespan of this push.
Yeah, I think both of these teams have definitely shown inconsistencies throughout the series. It's definitely been an interesting match to watch from a viewer standpoint, right? Because I'm watching these teams and like, Bad English got better at this, but they keep falling flat on their faces. And this occasion, Honeybadgers have got better on this, but they also have those moments where they're playing poorly. So both of these teams definitely matching up to each other well. They're definitely ready for the task. We'll see if Bad English can finish off the series or if Honeybadgers can take us to a map 6. We'll be right back after a short break.
In a totally imaginary world where the government allows a virus to sweep the globe and every city is on lockdown, one company is there to connect us all: ExpressVPN. Sign up at expressvpn.com/elohell and enjoy America's content without the, well, you know, America.
This ad made with 100% grass-fed, cage-free, wild-caught, no GMO, organic Americans. Vegan-friendly, availability upon request.
Academy, they lay down the shatter, let the bodies hit the floor. Uprising Academy at 95%.
Right now with Hydra building up to this Bear Barrage so quickly.
Oh, it has things.
Double kill in the back with the pulse bomb from the high ground. Aerial assault with that mine.
Impact se escucha debajo gritar campeón a Sky Foxes.
Holy cow.
And after 42 consecutive losses, the Shanghai Dragons get their first win.
8 teams enter this weekend.
Oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing?
We got a clip with minimal information. It's time to break it down. Speed, 25%. Go. Figure out what this man's SR is.
Keep fighting until it's for sure lost.
Winnable!
Overwatch Ranked, only to be greeted by this, which then leads to this, and oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing? The solution? Elo Hell pickup games.
Hey, you know what? Just fucking do it.
Oh my god, it's huge! Oh! Kill! Let's go!
Open to players of all ranks and most platforms, Pugs give you the chance to experience competitive Overwatch as it was meant to be played. Competitively.
I need help.
I'm with you.
Shoot.
No way, dude.
Go. Let's go. Nice. Good call.
Players set their icons to indicate the role they want to play, then two captains pick their teammates and draft the most competitive teams they can. You can also take part in our pioneering learning event, Coached Pugs. To take part, join the Elo Hell Pickup Games Discord, and be sure to read the Pug Guide and FAQ. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in-game.
Welcome back, everybody, to an exhilarating series here in the grand finals of the intermediate division of GitGud EU. Right now, Bad English are up 2-1 over Honeybadgers, but we're on map 5 because on Temple of Anubis, Honeybadgers manages to get us to 5 points on the board and tie up the series.
What a weird map of Temple of Anubis that was. Like on broadcast, I was just kind of thinking, how are we here? How have we managed to, kind of choke, on 4 occasions on point B of our defenses? But honestly, it's a very high pressure situation, right? For these intermediate players, they don't get to play in tournaments like this. They don't have these opportunities. So when they get to a grand final like this, and have a real opportunity to sense progression in their Overwatch play, it's got to be nerve wracking. I think that. And maybe losing concentration is definitely something that might affect those dire moments.
Yeah, and it was a weird map, like you said, because Bad English, they looked on top of the world. After getting a very good hold on Honeybadgers, a respectable Temple of Anubis hold, they swept them on their attack. And then Honeybadgers, out of nowhere, pulled out this double shield oak composition that Bad English just couldn't figure out. Eventually they did, though, because when they faced it again, they just barreled right on through it and immediately did it on their third attack.
Yeah, the downside for Bad English there is that you had the opportunity just to take it and win it, but just you saw something new and kind of panicked, but then you fix it up eventually to get a draw, which now means we're head on to control, which Bad English struggled on earlier. Honeybadgers were great on our previous control map. You have to think, if Bad English lose this map, is the momentum going to go towards Honeybadgers? And Bad English had the opportunity to win the series right in their grasps. And Honeybadgers, you're probably also thinking, Control's next, let's go. But then you're also thinking, we're still 2-1 down. This is such a unique match to cast. I haven't really thought of a GitGud match that I've casted that's like this. 2 inconsistent teams, 2 teams that are constantly changing what they're improving. They're constantly looking for things that you wouldn't really see. It's really interesting to watch.
And the things that resulted in Bad English losing that initial control map were the rotations. And normally I would have said Bad English, they've really improved their rotations. Until I saw them against that double shield poke composition, that does raise some questions. They did eventually figure it out, but now, again, in this super high pressure situation, will they be able to keep it figured out?
Yeah, I think sometimes they just, remember on King's Row, they kind of kept going into this mindset of let's go, and then slipping back into this mindset of let's wait a bit. It's very difficult to say on Bad English what they're going to do because you don't know. I don't think they know either.
And we're going to see where, at least, they figure out what to do. As Bad English, actually, I don't know who counterpicked this. We're going to go to Lijiang Tower for our 5th map. If Bad English are able to clean up their control play, that's it. Grand Finals done 3-1 over Honeybadgers. But Honeybadgers, as we've said, were a serious threat on control.
Yeah, and this map actually was picked by Honeybadgers, so it might be a comfort pick because Bad English won't have to rotate around the map as much here, right? It's at the control side, you just go, which again, you might be concerned for Bad English that they might slip into the mindset of let's win a bit, which would be concerning. Garden, which is go, control the pillar, or go, control the point, or go, control White Room, right? So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, and we're going to be starting out on Garden, so trying to get to that pillar as quick as possible. The question for me is the fight going to be going on around the pillar or around the White Room? We haven't been seeing these teams go for the most optimal rotations on the control maps particularly, but I think if you're going to be going for a brawl style, you want to just go right into that White Room. It's the best place for it.
Yeah, I think also it depends if you're running the D.Va or the Zarya. That D.Va, you're going for a longer fight if you're going for the pill. You're going for like a burst fight if you're going for White Room. So if you're going for the Zarya, you might want to go for White. And if you're on the other side, you want to probably play the D.Va. So this is a bit of a 50-50 situation here because, again, it's been hard to get a read on these teams and what sort of optimizations or compositions they want to go for.
And Dennis stomping into the White Room as the immediate teleport is going to give Honeybadgers control over this pillar room. They want to go for this longer fight. They have the D.Va to sustain through it, but with the turret set up, how are Bad English going to get a clean engage? This is what we've been talking about as the wall isolates Dennis. They're not able to get the immortality field right away, barely get it at the end to sustain through that, but that initial burst window is gone. The cooldowns are used. Bad English have to play slow while they wait for another chance to get in.
Yeah, and then when they do get in, they need to go, no hesitation. The problem is that Maywell was beautiful from his fan.
Yeah, and now Takuna's all charged up. Even without Dennis there anymore, they're still getting so much value from their tracking as it's the immediate capture.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see why Honeybadgers picked this map type. On Control Center, you're going to have that mass brawl and a lot of neutral team fights, which they like to take. And additionally, for Night Market and Garden, they probably have some of these set symmetry strategies that Bad English might struggle against, and it seems like they're struggling already.
And, oh! Well, that's the fight over. 2 down, 2 are Abens, and that is a very oncoming sound barrier. Luckily, they didn't get the follow-up environmental kills onto the other people resetting, but Abens is going to be so ahead in the economy.
Yeah, Abens now increasing their ultimate charge lead over Grimkin, and that's actually uncharacteristic. We haven't been seeing many of those aggressive plays from Abens. And on the subject of ultimates, look at Honeybadgers. They're going to have 5 online for the next fight. Bad English might have those ultimates in the mid fight, and with having to already walk into the point and having nothing to walk in with, this is not a good situation for them.
The Blizzard and the bomb. That's all they needed. Boom. Honeybadgers, they got an instant fight win 2 times in a row. And Bad English, they're giving them more chances to fight, but the more times you reset like that, how much longer can you sustain it?
Yeah, I don't need 2 ultimates to win that fight. And it's a quick team fight win as well. Honeybadgers just looks so comfortable right now. I've got to be thinking, this is control again. Actually, this is better. They fake left, go right. They don't quite face their opponent, but it is at least something.
Yeah, not gonna get booped again this time, though you can't call it this early as Abens is always hunting. But the second Blizzard comes out, and it's up to Law to try and capitalize, but that shield is in the way. Luckily, Sven is not behind the shield. So, the bullet goes into their skull, and now, Bad English, with the power of the sound barrier and the grab, they have the tools to take this point. It's a heavy investment, but in last fight territory, they needed to guarantee it.
Yeah, Honeybadgers kind of fall flat on their face. I think they were a little bit slow realizing that was a fake push to right-hand side, to the white side of the White Room, and then it sounded like I was saying it was the right-hand side. But I had to clarify myself. But actually, the right-hand side was the Garden, and then they come in, take that fight. It was a very good fight from Bad English. They used the ultimates they needed to, and Honeybadgers don't have much themselves. It's basically going to be dueling up matrices, and this match is already done. Grimkin gets the boot.
Yeah, Takuno not going to get a chance to charge up again! Charging off with the, charge as it's the battle of environmental kills right now, Ocean, as both tanks just went down on the side of Bad English despite that amazing early push. And with this Ant Matrix, you have to cancel it out with the wall. Otherwise, you're not going to get a chance to prolong this fight. And even though Bad English, they were looking to hold on, Grimkin! Oh my word, we were talking about it, but that might not be enough still. Getting the recontest on that teleporter boop, it's not going to be enough. as this is looking very nice. Balthazar coming onto the point to save it at the last moment. They're going to get the flip, and now I don't think Bad English are going to get a chance to touch. Overtime is expiring, trying to get the wall over, but they're not going to get there. Oh, wait, they are! Bob at the last moment gives their life to keep the point alive, and now they have the ultimates, but they're not going to get a chance to use it, especially with Jaeger dropping their self-destruct on the point. The Blizzard going to stop Dennis from getting there. They go for the Shatter anyway, just for fun. As even though it was a shaky ending, Honeybadgers able to get the first point on Lijiang.
I believe it's time to highlight the Lucios again, right? Because Grimkin, right, got that double boot last fight, absolutely fuming probably that they didn't win the team fight. And is always looking for those sort of plays. But we've seen a real up in tempo and a real up in looking for those little openings in the team fight that you could create for your team. And Aben's got a couple environmentals as well, was actually looking for more of those plays to make it difficult for their opposition, maybe because they're more comfortable in Lijiang, that's why they were able to pick this map. But definitely a step up for Aben's on a lot of different things.
Yeah, and bringing that equalization, you talked about what if Grimkins was on Honeybadgers. That's kind of what we're seeing right now as Abens is stepping up their game. It's letting them play this go-go-go style much better, but they're going to actually be playing a bit more distance as they're going to be running Sven on this Junkrat. Now, obviously, Bad English, they're going to have the advantage they can close the distance, but it's going to be very scary to do that when constantly those grenades are being lobbed out. Balthazar going low, trapped behind that wall. No opposing wall to save their life either, but Dennis is going to be the one to fall. Sven being taken down by Lol. Lol pressures the back line. They're looking for some sort of opening as Sukuna holds the front line strong. They are really the front line decider right now, always keeping that laser charged up.
Yeah, when you use this Junkrat composition, it's usually the play around all the chokes that Lijiang Control Center has. And actually what's strange is Bad English played in the area that's quite open, that they're around the point. And strangely enough, they just didn't quite get anything going in that fight. They actually played positionally quite well, but just nothing really happened for them. And now, this is dangerous. Going for this choke with symmetric turrets and Junkrat. Oh, doesn't sound fun.
To get that immortality field though, because they're so low. Balthazar's Shatter whiffs, Pikachu goes off the edge, and that might just be it. Without those bubbles there, there's no one to peel, and Balthazar is happy to clean up. 3 kills for them.
Yeah, I mean, Honeybadger is so comfortable on this Lijiang Tar map. We're beginning to see why they picked it. And again, additional not just Lijiang Tar, but Control as well. Bad English still building up to their critical ultimates. And then there's Photon Barrier, there's Junkrat Riptire online. This is such a difficult fight for Bad English, and this could easily be another 100-0.
Yeah, very big potential right now for a... as Pikachu goes down early again, Pikachu has not gotten to play the game, Ocean. They've not been in any of the past 3 fights. And again, without that Zarya there, Zarya who usually benefits off the Junkrat spam, no one to benefit now as Sven is just getting some free damage and free kills, and Balthazar gets the cleanup.
Yeah, they didn't even use the Riptire, right? I mean, Evans goes over to Grimkin, gets a little courtesy, but not going to matter too much to the gameplay type of thing. But Honeybadgers, they still have resources to try and win this next fight, whereas Bad English, they need to be a little bit patient, wait until they have a couple more players ready to go, and then they could go in. Actually, they will, but before he used Apple.
Oh, but that's a nice Shatter, catching 2. But unfortunately, that's a Baptiste you caught, and they immediately threw down that sound barrier. A lot committed right here. Almost everything that Bad English had, and they've still lost Skillicious. They're able to get the flip at 99, but this is the exact scenario we saw on Gardens.
Yeah, looking at this, I said this is extremely difficult situation for Bad English, right? You've got the Death Blossom, you got the Ant Matrix, you're holding the point, you've got options to start this fight. The problem is, if you play at a faster tempo, you're going to let this Junkrat get value. You're going to let this Photon Barrier and Riptire get value. So you're going to have to be really clever on how you engage this and make sure your ultimates get value, but you can't use an ultimate if your Reaper's dead.
And Bob's Ant Matrix is already burned away. Now Sven going all the way to the back line, looking for the big tire, and they get it with those kills. I don't think there's anything coming back from it unless Law gets the Death Blossom of their life. The overtime will expire, and Ocean, I think we're going to a map 6. Law goes for the most optimistic Death Blossom I've ever seen. They don't even get to pull it out as overtime expires. 2 points on the board on Lijiang for Honeybadgers, and 2 points on the board in total. Tied up 2-2. it's a map 6.
Map 6, and this is just the first series of the day, folks. Like, seriously, EU finals, the teams are coming to try and get the coin. The good thing for Bad English is it's their map pick, right? It's their map pick, and they kind of get to play a little bit more comfortable. Right? On the Honeybadgers side of things, you're going to be raring of confidence. You know, you have just won 2 control maps in a row. You're playing with such confidence that you've got to like a dominating control map win on Legion, and we're going to control again for map 6.
Now, the counterpick that Bad English are going for, it's Busan. And for me, if I was looking at this from their perspective, their brawl on control just does not work. It doesn't. The only fights they're winning are in overtime with 6 ultimates. That's not a sustainable economy, and it never will be. Now, I know I've been bringing it up. We've been bringing it up time and time again with very little evidence to base it on besides preferred heroes, but you need to try some sort of switch up in heroes, because I don't think the gameplay adaptation is fast enough for Bad English right now.
Yeah, I feel like also on control, right? Their rotations aren't as good as they are on other maps. Aren't as good as they were on King's Row. Aren't as good as they were on Rialto, right? Their rotations aren't good enough on control. I feel like they're not playing at a fast enough pace on control either. And Honeybadgers are just more comfortable on the game mode. So they've got to throw something else out there. Whether that's throwing Exige back into the lineup and seeing what she can do, right? Like maybe just throwing a new player in the lineup, a different playstyle. And Jules, maybe. I mean, we haven't been really able to see the differences in like some of their players, but maybe just throwing a player in there and seeing how they interact in different duels might be an idea. Or honestly, we've been alluding to it, just play double bubble. Try something different. Try and throw Honeybadgers off, because otherwise, Honeybadgers just won this series, this grand finals, by only winning control maps.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize. They got the draw at least on Anubis, but if you allow that to happen, you are showing the biggest weak point possible. And I think the switch up to double bubble could be a factor, because think about how long it took Bad English to adapt to the double shield composition. Even though the Brawl technically had a good matchup against it, they weren't warmed up against it. Now, it's a big mix-up, but on the last map, the definite last map of the grand finals, you have to risk it all. Otherwise, the trajectory, it's not projecting you going to a good place.
All I'm going to say, Liz, like, no matter the outcome of this match, you better be doing at least 2 control only scrims next week. That's happening. Right? I'm assigning it to you, because I want to see Bad English play strong rotational style on control. I think they'd be really good at it, right? Because of what we've seen on other maps. I just feel like on control, they don't either have the confidence to play it, or they haven't been taught how to do it.
Yeah, and the main thing is, the rotations weren't the best, but in the mid-fight, what would you like to see them switch up? Because they have definitely made some improvements, like, once they're actually fighting Honeybadgers, but actually getting there, how do they do it?
Actually getting into the fight, just play more aggressive, walk forwards. Once you've made that rotation to make it your battlefield, walk forwards. There actually have been a few occasions where they actually have rotated around the map and they just stood there. Right? Go in. Once you have the optimal situation to fight, fight.
And we're going to see how that fight pans out. We're going to be going to Mecha Base on Busan to open it up. A lot of high ground control right here. Bad English, this is one of the few maps where I'm 99% sure you know exactly where your opponents are going to be. You don't have to worry about getting out-rotated. You need to be ready to smash into them, hold W, and actually win that initial fight.
Yeah, it has to happen, doesn't it? It has to happen. And it looks like, I mean, I don't think we're going to see a change. I think Dennis is just going to come back on that right. I don't think Bob's going to be playing Brig either. I think we're going to see Brawl versus Brawl. So if they are going to play this matchup, you have to match Honeybadgers' tempo. You have to. Because otherwise, this is another very fast control map. We're off to a break. We're ready for the next series. I want to see both these teams playing at their best.
Yeah, because it'll be heartbreaking if Bad English, they have almost mastery over every other map type and then fall flat on control. That can't be their legacy. They need to get something on the board here. But with that immediate isolation play, it is the best person to get caught, though. Scalicious is able to hop in that ice block, delay the fight until the walls drop, and now it's time for a brawl. Double Immortality Field's committed, but it's going to be Bad English's falling first, which means they're going to be in a world of hurt right now, as this is a very prolonged fight. Neither of these teams want to cede this initial engage. As another wall comes out, another May isolated, another Scalicious ice block. But finally, Ibroth is first to pull the trigger on this Ant Matrix. It's going to be Bad English just waiting it out, giving up the point. Grimkin going over to contest. That could be the mistake. They lost the Lucio so early, the call wasn't there, and now even though they have the Ant Matrix to engage, I don't know when they're gonna get a chance to do it, Ocean.
I was wondering why Bad English weren't engaging up top, because you know that one of the Honeybadgers is on the point capturing, but it was actually because it would be a 4v5 in Honeybadger's favor. I mean, Pikachu is up and at it, trying to take the fight back. Yeah, as I thought, I didn't think there is any real chance for Bad English to get back into it, but back to the point at hand. Actually, Pikachu and Grimkin had dropped down to take the fight to point. So it would have been a 4-5 on the high ground against Bad English, but whoever made the call to go to point instead of taking the 6v5, not a great call.
Yeah, giving up a little bit of percentage is what we've seen Bad English do before on Nepal, but they didn't make that call this time, and Siege, they get isolated. They're barely able to hop out of safety, but here is the fabled Jaeger Bomb, and there it is! 2 kills, and Takuno, they get some on the board too, but that was the fight opener right there. That was more or less a reset into the bullets of Takuno.
I think the thing I worry about, though, is you used 3 ultimates and you actually lost 7% to Bad English. They got a cap in there, and you could be on around 63% right now, and they could be on 0, right? So, looking at that, 3 ultimates for that team fight, would you really take it again? I'm not so sure.
Oh, but that's a nice blizzard, and everyone just retreats. But the sound barrier is not enough to save Dennis's life. Takuno now getting the pop-off plays. We've seen them on McCree this entire time doing amazing. And now, 80% on the board. This is almost going to put Honeybadgers at match point for control.
I'm looking at Bad English's ultimates, and both of them are great at the start of the fight. Great at opening up the team fight. But other than that, how are you just going to win a team fight? Evans also has the Soundfire to help isolate the targets on their team. I'm not so sure they have an opportunity to even win this fight.
They need to get something off of this Ant Matrix, but they can't do it, and the Dragon Strike doesn't find anything either. Bad English, 2 ultimates committed, no value gain, as Honeybadgers sit tall and proud on the point. They're looking to take this into the match point of control point, our map 6. He's getting, it's looking dicey. Ocean, they need these adaptations we've been talking about now.
Yeah, they gotta play faster, and they also gotta make better decisions in that first fight, because they could have took a 6v5 on the high ground on point on the first fight that point at that base, and then they drop 2 on the low ground and take a 2v1 and a 4v. Just take the brawl. Just go. Just take a team fight. You know, you've proved over the course of the series in different game modes, in different maps, that you can stand out the Honeybadgers. Why is it different on Control? Why is it different in any other scenario? Just take the team fight. Just fight. It's Overwatch. It's a shooter game. Shoot each other.
I want to see the Kings row Bad English back. That was their peak, I feel like. They were doing so good, and then all of a sudden, like, this is more or less a fight on the streets of Kings Row, a different color palette, sure. You just need to use that same aggression, but the fact that they are immediately taking the drum, that does give me a good sign. It's another slow opening fight right now, Ocean, as Bad English, they don't want to lose this opening fight, because once they do that, I don't know if they know going to get back in, but Grimkin, once again, the first to fall. That aggressive playstyle has been punished time and time again. The rotations have not been clean enough to protect that aggressive playstyle, as the flip point is going to flip over to the Honeybadgers for possibly the last time.
I mean, potentially, like, this is going to be a late stagger as well on to Exige. And I'm not looking at this and I'm thinking, you know, are they back in old habits? Are they in a situation where Grim wants to go up, wants to push the team forward, and everyone's like, no. Maybe Grim has the right mindset, everyone else is just concerned, they're worried, they're scared of the Honeybadgers. You gotta respect the Honeybadgers, but you cannot be scared of them. You have to start even taking team fights. Because at this rate, they're just kind of sitting there and letting themselves down.
And now Bob has his Ant Matrix. It's going to be a dueling set of Bay Windows once again. But, Sven was right out there in the double damage zone, barely escaping with their life as Siege will be the first to fall. Now, that's a nice blizzard right there from Sven from beyond the grave. They let their team get the cleanup on a bad English. 50% in building until this grand finals is over.
Yeah, and they have the ultimates to play in like the early fight. Next fight, you can take a really fast tempo team fight like Deadeye and Earthshatter, and maybe self-destruct. But if we get to a mid-fight where there's ultimates like Graviton Surge, Tracker, Tracker Strong, then we're going to be in trouble. Like the Deadeye, they go for it, I can respect that, just doesn't quite pen off. But I do like the fact they went for that high tempo Deadeye. I think it would have been nice.
Yeah, it forces the rotation to go faster, but given that pressure, the bad English might not have been that good. The Jaeger, once again, always guaranteed a kill, and Dennis was perhaps the worst person to go down this early in the fight. They had the Shatter coming up. That could have been the fight turner, but there is still potential right here. They have the damage, but there was no one to block the Shatter from Balthazar, who just strolls on the point, reclaiming it for their team, and now they're in last fight territory, 85% and building.
Last fight territory. The early ultimates in this are going to be the Amplification Matrix and the Deadeye. That could decide it, or it could be the Sound Barriers. Those Lucios we talked about after map 2. Who is feeling the hungrier?
But Dennis isn't able to get the point. They barely trigger overtime, and that's going to be Pikachu stunned right as they get on there. Grimkin buys time for their team, but it's only time as Siege, their High Noon, finds nothing but a mech, and that mech is not enough to save this point. A 100-0 in the works right now, as it's just all stall right now. Dennis would need to hit the Reinhardt play of a lifetime right now, and they're not going to get it. 100-0. On this last control point, pretty much that on Mecha Base as well. This series ends on control, not with a bang, but a whimper, as Honeybadgers show absolute dominance on control maps.
Yeah, I mean, you've won your grand finals by only playing control, only playing control maps, enjoying tempo for this. I'm sorry, but I am finding the comedic side of things. Has that ever happened to GitGud before? Like, ever? Like, that is crazy. I have never seen that sort of thing before. Bad English, they need to go do some control scrims because they didn't look the same team on that map type.
But we got to talk about some of the key things that gave advantages to the side of Honeybadgers, specifically Jaeger. Oh my word, they need to get back on that D.Va more often. I like the Zarya mirror on the other maps. I enjoyed it. They got some good plays. But the D.Va giving them the peel potential and also the clutch potential is something they desperately need.
Yeah, what I actually like is the D.Va is the more consistent pick, right? Always Jaeger on the D.Va is the more consistent pick, right? The Zarya actually likes to play in those more aggressive fights, but Honeybadgers, they just went in anyway. And Bad English, realistically, they should take advantage of that, but they didn't. And Jaeger, every single time we had a fight longer than 30 seconds, Jaeger was the player that clutched up. So I thought Jaeger was great today. If we were looking at Bad English winning this series, I thought Grim was good. I thought Grim was always looking for plays. So in this sort of essence, Jaeger in the mid fights was absolutely superb for Honeybadgers.
And I do just want to shine a brief spotlight on the king of consistency, on Takuno. Oh my word. They were getting 3Ks consistently, but it was always when you should see a DPS getting 3Ks. They're not dropping anything, but they're also not being the most clutch, which is why we're not always screaming their name, but Takuno was a key factor in keeping Honeybadgers straight throughout that whole thing.
I like Takuno because Takuno, when they needed a pick, got a pick. Didn't always get 2 picks in a fight, but when they needed a kill, when they should have got a kill, they got the kill. And I think that's important. When you need to get those kill confirms, they got it.
And it is going to be Jaeger getting the community voted player of the match. And honestly, I think they earned it. Getting both that title and the title of champion of GitGud EU Intermediate Division. As that's it, folks. That's all we got for you. That was just fantastic.
Yeah, well, that's all for our intermediate finals. We got another finals right after this. I wonder if that's going to be another 6 maps. Hopefully not for my throat's sake, but for the entertainment's sake, let's see it.
So we're going to be going to a quick break here and now. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned, though, because the expert grand finals are going to be coming up soon enough. Don't miss it.